Welcome back, YouTube. Today we are playing more PioFiore. This video is a combination of two shorter streams. I finished my blind playthrough of Dante Falzone's Route. Which ending did I get? We'll see. You can watch me play live at twitch.tv/Pinker NeonNova. Enjoy the video! Good morning, Dante.
ああ、おはよ
Yes, good morning. Oh, I can't hear it again. What's going on? Turn off. OBS, why are you being like this? There we go, it's back. Yes, good morning. Why do you have such a pinched nerve looking face? We normally greeted each other good morning, but today we both spoke timidly. Dante sat down at the table while I prepared breakfast, but it all felt so awkward. Yesterday feels like a dream. Dante quietly looked at me, hesitantly, then began to speak.
情けないところを見せて
I'm sorry about what happened yesterday. Perhaps it was due to my fever. Don't apologize for kissing me. I was a bit shocked at what he said, but I tried to hide it by remaining calm. Oh, yes, I'm sure. It's okay. I understand. So then, are you feeling better now? For some reason, Dante seemed rather displeased with my reply.
分かっているだと何をだ
What do you mean you understand? I mean, you had a fever, so you weren't feeling like yourself, right? That's okay. It can't be helped.
違う
That's not. Ugh.
いや
No,
今のは俺の言
I
い方が
worded
悪かった
myself incorrectly. Huh? He looked straight into my eyes.
俺はお前のことを思っている
I love you. Oh, baby. His words were straightforward and simple. My heart was racing again. You. Dante had a cloudy look on his face, seeing that I was unable to respond. He then spoke in an apologetic tone.
怒っているのか
Pink,
すまない
are you upset? Forgive me. No, I'm not upset. I felt like I had seen every possible side to him since yesterday. So, oh, breakfast is ready. Let's eat. I clumsily urged him towards our breakfast. Our simple but awkward conversation helped ease the tension in the air. Meanwhile, Daystar. Others.
そろそろ僕の出番かな
I suppose my turn is coming up. Whose turn? I looked up at the sky. The blue sky hid the brilliance of the stars. Even then, I heard their words.
時を逃せば取り
Time
返し
is
が
of
つ
the
かない
essence. I need to let
今
them
こそ
know.
彼らに伝えなけ
Who
れば
are you? Our simple but awkward conversation helped ease the tension in the air. We just finished our simple breakfast. We spoke again from where we left off yesterday.
まず各組織の立場についてだが
So, about each organization's standing.
ビスコンティは静観の
The
姿勢を見せてい
Visconti
る
is holding
今
neutral
のとこ
ground
ろ
now.
事態に割って
It
入る
doesn't
つもりは
seem
な
as
さそう
though
だ
they will intervene in our affairs anytime soon. I see. That's good to hear. If the Falzone had to face both the Visconti and the Lao Shu, the situation could take a turn for the worse.
問題はラオ州だな
The
ヤ
problem
ンは以
now
前
is the
俺た
Lao
ちに
Shu.
対し奇跡の
Yang
恩
said
恵
that he
に預か
wanted
りたい
in
と
on
言っ
the
てきた
blessings from the relic.
単純な話だ。俺たち
Simple.
もこの地に
We
眠
want to
る奇
receive
跡
the
の恩恵
blessing
に
that this
預か
land
りたい。
has been given as well.
奇跡のためには
It's not
お
going
前
to
たち
do
が
me
死ん
any
でしまうと
favors
困るからだ。
if you all die now. Was he serious back then?
わからないラオ州がどこ
I'm
まで
not
生物に関わる情報
I
を手
don't
に入
know
れて
how
いるのか
much the Lao Shu
不明の
actually
ままだ
know about the relic. People be sending me messages. Hold on. They're not important messages.
気にかかる発言もあった
Keep turning the phone over. He also mentioned something unusual. You mean about how he needs us alive? I wonder what he meant by that. What kind of blessings come from the relic? Dante thought for a moment, then spoke again.
伝承によれば
According to legend,
神の
the
恩寵を
sacred
地上に
relic
媒
is
介
said
す
to
ること
bring
で
blessings
奇跡を起こすと
onto
考
this
えられてい
land
る
in the form of miracles.
奇跡を起こす生物を所有するこ
Those
と
of
で
prominence
過去
who
の権
owned
力
the
者は
relic
自身
used
の
it
正
to
当性を
prove
主張した
their right to rule. They profess they were chosen by God to receive
神に
his
選ばれ
blessings.
し人間なのだと
If that's true, then the relic must have been sought after by so many through the years. So Dante, do they say what kind of miracles are bestowed by Verlone's relic?
そこまでは俺も知らない
I don't know.
かの有名な聖杯伝説の類では病気治癒などがよく挙げられるが
The popular legend of the Holy Grail suggests the purging of illness, but the Holy Grail, a grail said to have been used during the Last Supper. It is rumored to be used to catch the blood from God's Son during his crucifixions. Legends speak of it as a holy artifact that brings divine healing and bounty. Thank you, terminology. I wasn't sure whether I should even ask this, but There's something I wanted to ask you. Why is Berlone hiding the sacred relic's existence? That's a good question. If it were made public, I'm sure the town would receive a number of pilgrims. More people would mean that Berlone could thrive as a bigger and wealthier town. It seems counterintuitive to hide the relic from the public. I recalled that they mentioned the relics were widely known and seen as objects of worship. Dante and Nicola had discussed it. Oh, sorry. That's the problem. The relic here has been kept secret from the public. Which is why the church has made sure to keep the Kingdom of Italy away from this town. The church watches over this town because the relic needs to be hidden. What did this all mean? I looked at Dante, waiting for him to speak. After a moment of silence, Dante sighed and proceeded somewhat reluctantly. Do you remember when Yang told me we were the keepers of the grave? Come to think of it, the keepers of the grave. How delightful. That's what Yang said when Dante came to rescue me. That's what the Falzone family was called long ago. That's about all I can say. I see. I nodded and accepted his response, seeing that he was obviously unhappy speaking about it. I wonder if the grave refers to an important person's grave that can't be made public. As I pondered over what that title meant, I continued on, changing the subject. So the Falzone has been watching over Berlone's sacred relic. Doesn't that mean that the relic belongs to you and the Falzone family? No, we're simply watchers and guardians of the relic in this land. Well, if you did have the rights to the relic, would you be able to get its blessing? I suppose, in a sense. That's probably why Yang is trying to obtain the rights to it. That's 100% why Yang is trying to obtain the rights to it. But in order to get the relic, one would first need to break the seal. Okay. Makes sense. Which means Yang won't kill us yet. I can only assume, but I don't fully believe in this blessing that the relic supposedly bestows, despite being the head of the Falzone. That's heresy, child. I doubt that Yang, from another country, is pious enough to believe it either. So, could Yang be looking for something else? Maybe there's another use for the relic.
その可能性
That
は
may
ある
be
か
a
もしれない。
possibility.
生物と引き換えに強
He
国と
could
交渉すれ
negotiate
ば
with the church and
きっと
trade
莫
it
大
for
な財貨を得
riches.
られるだろ
All I knew was that something terrible would happen if Yang got a hold of the relic. Or something terribly wonderful. I'm a sip. Can't you gain rightful ownership of the relic before Yang does?
う。それは
That's... Regardless of whether Yang uses it for profit or abuses it for a blessing, he'd still bring about casualties to the town.
そうだな。
I
ラオ
can't
州の
deny
拠点
that.
がここにある以上
It's an inevitability as long as the Lao Shu is here. Well then, why don't you obtain the rights to the relic before Yang does? Dante could receive its blessing or use it to bargain with the church. Orlok said that the Foul Zone won't receive any more support from the church, right?
今日の目的は顔見せと忠告
I
だけ。
shall leave you with this
教
warning.
告はすでに
The church
し
will
びれ
no
を切
longer
らしてる。
will not wait for much longer.
今後、パルツォー
We
ネ
will
に教
not
告の
continue
費
to
用は
offer the
与えられない。
protection we have previously bestowed. You could use the relic in exchange for the church's support again.
お前の言っていることには筋が通って
I
いる。
understand what you're
理
saying.
屈としては納得
It
で
makes
きる。
sense.
が
But
ファルツォーネはあくまで
the
生
Foul
物の
Zone are
守り
merely
人だ。
guardians.
そ
There's
の
no
長
way
た
I
る俺
could
が所
exploit
有
it
者
in
に
that
なるなんて。
fashion. I can. Let me do it. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Generations of guardians of the relic made it difficult for Dante to abuse it. But Dante, your status as guardians is only because of the Burlone's relic, isn't it? If you lose the relic, you'll also lose your purpose in guarding it.
それは
I suppose. You're
お
right.
前の言う通りだ。
Oh, look at his sad little puppy face. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I have such a tickle in my throat. He closed his eyes to think. After a moment, he opened them again with resolve.
俺はファルツォーネという
The
組織
Foul
を
Zone family,
祖先から受け継いできたこの使
the
命。
mission assigned to me after generations. This town,
お前も町も
I want to protect them, and you.
全てを守りたい。悠長に手段を選んでいる
That
暇
said,
はないな。
I don't
でき
have
るこ
much
とを
time.
全部試して
I
いかな
need
ければ。
to do what I can for now. I could tell that any reluctance he had was gone now from his expression. I was happy to see him filled with spirit again, and asked another question out of curiosity. Come to think of it, do you know where the relic is hidden?
ああ、場所なら
Yes,
分かっている。
but
ただ、
but
封印を解くには必要なものが2つある
do
と。
you remember how I
以前
said we
話したこ
needed
とを
two
覚えている
things
か？
to break the seal? Yes, something about the Foul Zone blood and the Key Maiden. Dante was referring to me.
俺はそれ以上のことを教えられていない。
The problem
どうすれ
is,
ば封印が
aside
解ける
from
のか
that, I have
知
no
らないんだ。
clue how to break the seal.
俺とお前が生物の眠る
It
場所
would
に
be
赴
easy
け
if
ば、
all we needed to
それ
do
だけで
was
簡
go
単に
where
解
the
けてくれるのかどう
relic
か。
is hidden.
いくら生物とはいえ、
I'm not certain
そん
that
なお
what
とぎ
I'm
話の
saying
ような
even
ことが
sounds
実在
real,
するものなの
even
か。
if it is a sacred item. Dante had a point. I pondered over the idea, then looked again at Dante. Dante? I was hoping that you might share a few more details about what the Falzone line has been told through the years.
ああ、ファルツォーネという一族の
It
歴
is
史は
said that the
ある
Falzone
聖人に
family
端を
is
発していると言
descended
われてい
from a
る。
particular saint.
聖遺物を守る
The
ための秘
Falzone
密
was
結社
commissioned to
ファ
guard
ル
the
ツォーネ。
sacred relic,
その
and the
祖先であ
legend
る
states
かの
that
聖
the
人
saint
は
was granted
天国の
the
鍵
key
を託
to
さ
the
れたと
heaven.
されている。
The key to the heaven,
そして先生
and the
術で見
seal
出され
to
た
the
乙女
relic
と
can only be
聖
broken
人の
when
血
the
を
key
引く者
maiden and another who
二人が
carries
揃
the
って
blood
初めて
of the saint
聖
come
遺物
together.
の封印を解けると伝えられている。
I'm okay.
俺が知っていることは
That's about all I know. I see. Well, why don't we start by going where the relic lies?
は
Huh? What? Dante looked surprised. I mean, we certainly won't get anywhere by staying put. Not that I think we'd solve everything just by going, but I'm sure we can find a lead once we're there. If we can somehow break the seal with only our presence, even better. Dante had a blank look on his face. I guess he didn't expect me to say that. Dante? I peered at Dante's face to see what was wrong.
すごいな。
Simply amazing, Pink. Did I say something? His sudden laughter caught me off guard. Oh, he's so cute.
いや、悪い。
I'm
お前の
sorry.
言う通りだな。
You're right. We
行
should
ってみ
just
て
go
聖
there.
遺物を手に入れら
And
れ
if
れ
we
ば
can get
それはそれで幸
the
運だ。
relic, lucky us. So, you agree? Dante smiled and nodded.
長年、組織が見守ってきた場所とはいえ、あの廃
We've
墟に
kept
赴く
watch
人
over
間
the
など
place
そ
for
ういない。
ages, but hardly anyone ever goes there.
鍵の乙女を伴って訪れた
I
という
don't
記録も
recall
ないし、
reading any records
行って
of
み
a
るだけ
key
の価値
maiden
はありそうだ。
visiting, so I suppose it's worth a shot.
不思議だな。
It's
お前と一
strange.
緒にいると、
I
凝り
feel
固ま
like
ってい
my
た思考
mind's
が
been
自由
open
に
to
なる。
all options simply by being with you. Then you should kiss a man too. Try that. Try it. Just try it once. Maybe? Maybe? Little smooch? Little smoochy smooch? No? Okay. I just say what I'm thinking. That's all. I was a bit embarrassed by his words, but I mustered up the strength to express my honest feelings. Meanwhile, flattery. Others. This is so boring. Faye's dead and Yang isn't around. I took a look around the empty table and grabbed a dumpling. Yang told me to stay put or die, but it's really boring here.
随分と退屈そうだ
You
な。
seem bored. I
片
didn't
割れがいなくな
expect
ると
you
こうも落
to
ち込む
be
とは
this
思わ
way
なかっ
just because you lost your partner. Her partner's her brother. I don't know why they're saying it like that. What? I'm not in the mood to play with you, Lee.
た。その暗い気分を何とかしてや
I
りた
just
くてな。
wanted to cheer you up.
どうだラン。
I
ハイに
can
な
give
り
you
たいなら
something to get
手
you
を貸
high,
してや
you
って
know.
もいいぞ。
Don't give the child drugs. What the hell? No thanks. I don't need that stuff. Good girl. I refused Lee's offer. I could tell my voice didn't sound as energetic as usual.
なんも片割れがいなくなって寂しいんだろ
Lonely
こいつは
without your
悪いこと
partner,
じゃな
aren't
い
you? It's her
ただの
brother.
遊
Stop
びだ
saying it like that. You're so fucking creepy, dude. This isn't bad stuff. Consider it a game.
頼るとかそ
No
んな
need
風
to
に
be
固く
reliant
考
on
え
it
なくていい
either. Think
ちょ
of
っ
it
と
as
気分
something
を上げる
which to pass
それ
the
だけだっ
time.
て
Why are you like the friggin' worst human being? Ugh. I looked up and glared at Lee's nagging face. I hope you die. In every route. I was a bit embarrassed by his words, but I mustered up the strength to express my honest feelings. I am happy I can be of help to you, Dante. Let's just go back to this romantic scene. And so, we decided to head to the ruins together, to the place where the relic was said to lie. Dante contacted Leo to send someone to pick us up. It was crucial to ride in a car now that the townsfolk were riled up from the news. We got into the car that arrived and headed to the entrance of the forest. We walked through the woods to the ruins where the sacred relic was sealed. I've never been here before.
そうなのか
Really?
町から森までは
This
そこ
forest
まで
isn't
離れ
very
ている
far
わけ
from
じゃない
town.
が
I was told as a child that the forest was home to wolves.
ああ確かに街道の方の森には
There
あ
are
の辺り
wolves
を縄
along
張
the
りにし
edge
てい
of the
る狼が
forest
いるな
closest to the road.
だがこの森を
They
根城
don't
に
come
する
around
狼の
here,
群れはいない
so
こ
consider
こ
this
は安
place
全だ
safe.
と思っていい
Is it safe? Really? I suppose there's a lot more that I still don't know about the area. Ooh, words. The moment I finished speaking. Ah! I tripped over a root and felt myself losing balance.
危ない
Watch out. Dante wrapped his arms around my body to hold me up. He brought a hand on my back to support me while using his other hand to hold mine. I felt my heart beat quickly, seeing his azure eyes flick so close to mine.
大丈夫か
Are
もし
you
足
alright?
が痛むようなら言ってくれ
Did you hurt your foot?
無理はしないで
Don't
ほしい
push yourself here. Thank you. I'm fine.
そうか
I see.
間に合ってよかっ
Well, good. I'm glad.
た廃墟まではもう少しだ
We're almost there.
行こ
Let's keep going. Dante removed his hand from my back, but his other hand was still holding my hand. My heart beat even faster than before. The ruins! Yay! We finally arrived at the ruins said to house the sacred relic. Why can I not read today? Oh my god. This place. I think Sister Sophia told me about this place before. She mentioned that there's an old church over the hills outside of town.
うそうだ
The Falzone family has kept watch over
定
and
期的な補
maintained
修
this
も行っ
place
てい
for
る。
generations. You did a bad job. I didn't know that. I heard rumors that death lived here, but I wasn't scared with Dante around. He held my hand and slowly walked into the ruins. The inside wasn't as bad as it appeared from the outside, likely because of the upkeep Dante had mentioned. Aside from a crumbling altar, there wasn't much else inside. Is the relic here? We both looked curiously around the area, in awe and amazement. Dante, have you been here before?
一度だけ
Just
父
once.
からファルツォーネの
My
使命に
father
つい
brought
て
me
知ら
here
された
when he
時に
first told me about the
連れてきてもらっ
Falzone
た。
mission.
とりあえず中
Well,
を見て回るか。
let's take a closer
何
look
かあるかも
around.
しれない。
We should keep an eye out for anything unusual. Right. We both began looking around in the search for anything interesting. Oh. We pored over the altar and the walls, checking every nook and cranny. We came up with nothing after thoroughly examining all the accessible areas. We touched and pushed things, but to no avail.
分かってはいたことだが、やは
I
り
should
そう
have
都合よく
expected as
話が
much.
進むわけもないか。
After all, it would have been too convenient. Dante frowned a bit and gave a sigh. I could tell he was slightly disappointed.
そもそもこの廃墟のどこに生
I
物が
wasn't
あるの
even
か、
informed of
そ
where
れす
these
ら俺は知らさ
ruins,
れていない。
the state of where in these ruins the sacred relic was sealed.
地中深く埋められている可能
Perhaps
性が
it's
高い
buried
が、
deep underground,
床を見たとこ
though
ろ
I don't see any
それらしき
markings
跡もな
here.
いしな。
We must be missing something. I tried to recall everything we had talked about, searching for an idea. Come to think of it,
長年組織が見守ってきた場所とはいえ、
we've kept
あの
watch
廃墟に
over the
赴く
place
人
for
間などそうい
ages,
ない。
but hardly anyone ever goes there.
鍵の乙女を伴って訪れたと
I
いう
don't
記録もな
recall
いし、
reading any
行っ
records
て
of
み
a
るだけ
key
の価
maiden
値はありそう
visiting,
だ。
so I suppose it's worth a shot. Dante's words sparked a thought in my mind. Dante, you said that there was no record of a key maiden coming here, right? Is this a record something that exists within your family?
ああ、
Yes,
ファルツォーネの執務室
there's
に
a
は
book in my
代々
office
の当主
that
の
has
記
a
録など
written
が残っ
record
てい
of
る。
what my ancestors have written.
もちろん誰にでも読める
It's
もの
not
じゃない。
something anyone can
当主のみが
access.
読むことを許可
Only
さ
the
れ
head
ている
of
も
the
のだ。
family can read it. Maybe there's some kind of clue in there about the relic.
可能性は低いな。
I doubt
ざ
it,
っと目を通してい
I've
る
read
し
it、
記録
through
の
a
すべてが
number
残
of
っているわけじゃ
times,
ない。
and it seems to be missing some important information.
そもそも、
For
ファル
one
ツォーネ
thing,
発祥まで遡った
there's
時代
no
の記録
record
は
of the
現存し
initial
ていないしな。
establishment of the Falzone family. I see.
生物を守る中で、もし予測不可能な事態が
I've
発
been
生したな
told
ら、
before from my father that if something unexpected were to happen,
使徒と呼ばれる存在が現れて、
a disciple would
Falzoneを
appear to
助ける
help
手
the
はずだと
Falzone family.
父に聞いた。
Wait, when you say disciple, do you mean
ああ、実際には、
Yes.
使徒は鍵の乙女を奪う
the
襲撃者
disciple
として現
appeared
れ
in
た。
front of us and tried to take you away?
今でこそ、峡谷
It
からの
seems
指
like
令が
he's
ないか
laying
ら
low for
おと
now,
なしくしているよ
since
う
he
だ。
doesn't have orders from the church.
命を受ければすぐに動
But
き
he'll
出す
make
はず
his
だ。
move
ファルツォーネの協力者
the
として
moment
は
he
期待
does.
できないだろう。
I doubt we can rely on him to help us out. There was no hint in sight. We couldn't hide our disappointment of having no real leads to work from. But then,
そうか。君は正
I
しく
see.
継承をしてい
It
ないんだ
seems
ね。
that you are not ready.
誰だ？
Who's there? Dante reacted to the voice and moved in front of me with his gun out. What? As if answering Dante's question, a silhouette slowly emerged from the shadows. Who's this twink? His blonde hair wisped against his white clothes. He looked young, almost childlike.
子供？
A kid? Dante mumbled in bewilderment, but showed no signs of lowering his gun. The young boy's tone of voice and behavior implied someone of age and experience.
道理で動かないはずだ。
There's
ず
a
っと不
reason
思
it
議に思っ
hasn't
ていたんだ
reacted.
よ。
Strange, given the situation,
君はもう鍵を
especially
手にしてい
considering
る
you
のにっ
already
て。
have the key. What?
使徒もうまく機能していないようだ
The
ね。
disciple is
まったく
not working as
昔はもっ
planned.
と簡単だったのに。
Things were so much simpler back then. Who is this creepy child? What the hell?
教国の規則も少しずつ変わっているけれど、そういうシ
Maybe
ス
it
テム
was
化が進んだ
systemizing the
弊害
church's
かな。
practices to adapt with the times. The young boy continued to speak calmly, without paying any heed to Dante. May I ask who you are?
ああ、そうだね。
Ah,
まずは挨
that's
拶か
right.
ら始めよ
Where are
う。
my manners?
はじめまして。
Nice to meet you,
Dante
Dante
Falzone.
Falzone. And
今代の鍵の乙女。
this generation's key maiden, Pinker NeonNova. He knows who we are.
僕はエミリオ。
My name is
教国の
Emilio.
人間だ。
I am a member
と
of the
いえば
church.
話が早いかな。
Emilio. Okay. Hi, Emilio. Dante frowned at the mention of the church and seemed more cautious than ever. The young boy didn't seem fazed, however, and spoke in the same tone as before.
僕は敵じゃない。と
I
言っ
know
て
it's
も、
difficult
使
to
徒の
believe,
剣があるし、
especially
そう簡単に
given
は
the
信じられ
disciple
ないだろ
incident,
うね。
but I am not your enemy.
まあ、そのまま楽にして聞くといいよ。
I'd appreciate it if you would
僕
hear
は
me
君
out.
たちに
I
害
have
を
no
与える
intention
つ
of
もりはな
harming
い
you.
から。
He showed a smile as if we weren't a threat to him, and continued.
教国は一枚
The
岩と
church
いうわ
isn't
け
as
ではない。
united as you
内
think.
部では様
We
々
have
な
our
思
share of
惑がうご
internal
めいている
strife.
んだ。このブルローネに
It
つ
is
いて
the
も
same
そう。
as it is here in Verlone.
教国はファルツォーネを見
That
限った
disciple
と
told us
使徒
that
に
the
聞かされ
church
たが、
has abandoned us.
俺たちと敵対し、
Are you
ラオ
telling
州
me
に
that
手を貸
cutting
したの
us
も
off and siding
教
with the
国の
Lao
総意で
Shu
はない
wasn't
と
the
言いたいの
church's
か。
collective will?
その通り。
Exactly.
信じられないか
Hard
い
to believe, isn't it?
ラオ州の後ろ盾は教国
Only a
全体
certain
ではなくて
faction
ね。
led by someone in the
とある
church
聖
is
職者が
supporting
率
the
い
Lao
る
Shu.
一派閥に過ぎない。
Ooh, spicy. Ugh, coffee. Turn that down just a wee bit. Ugh.
指導者、教国の主の有料
The
は
Pope is
ただ
only
一つ。
concerned about one thing,
ファルツォーネが守り人
that
と
is,
して、
whether the
これからも機
Falzone
能して
family
いけるの
is
かどうか。
and will continue to
それだけだ
function
よ。
as a guardian. Emilio gave a gentle smile and looked straight at Dante.
ダンテ・ファルツォーネ。
Dante Falzone.
ここに来たからには
I am assuming you
聖
came
物を
here
手
for
に
the
しよう
sole
という
purpose of
意志を持
seizing
っ
the
ているのだ
sacred
ろ
relic.
う。大方
You
聖物と
probably
引き
wish
換
to
えに
use it
教
to
国の
regain
後
the
ろ盾
church's
を取り
support
戻
in
そうという魂
exchange.
胆かな。
だとすれば
And if so? Dante's eyes were still narrowed, but Emilio responded with a calm maturity.
それは正しい。僕は君の判断を称賛する。
I praise you for making the right move.
ファルツォーネの後継者が
Securing the
聖
relic
物を
as
手にして
successor of the
正
Falzone
当な権
family
力
will
者であるこ
prove
とを
your
証
right
明
to
すれば
power.
教国はファル
The
ツォーネ
church
を
won't be
認め
able
ざ
to
るを得な
deny
い。
your role,
そうな
thereby
れば
alleviating our
成果の
Pope's
憂慮も晴れ
concerns.
るだろう。僕としてもありがた
That
いよ。
would help me in
無
turn
用
as
な
well.
争いの火種は
Extinguishing
早く
conflict
消え
is a
るに越した
wonderful
ことが
thing.
ないから。
But we came here and found nothing that would lift the seal, or even the seal itself.
そもそもファルツォーネの伝承は正
Was
しいの
the
か
lore told to the
本当にこ
Falzone
の廃墟に
correct?
聖物が
Is
眠っ
the
ている
relic
と
really here in these runes?
廃墟なんて呼び方は
Runes
不
is
敬だ
such a
ね。
crude thing to say.
聖堂か
Church or
せ
sacred
めて
site
遺
is
跡って
a
呼んで
more
ほし
apt
いな。
term.
まあ
But
このあれよう
with
じゃ
the state
無
of
理
the
もないけ
place,
れど
I can't blame you. Emilio pouted a bit at the church's condition, then returned to the subject.
鍵の乙女は完全じゃない。
The
今の
key
ままでは
maiden
必要な役割を果たせ
isn't
ない。
herself complete. She cannot fulfill her role at present. Huh? I hesitantly asked Emilio what I was missing. What am I missing then?
封印を解くために必要なのは
You need the
第
eighth
八の奇跡。
sacrament to break the seal. What? Huh? Aren't there only 7 sacraments?
うんそうだね。
Indeed. I'm sorry, I don't quite understand. Could you explain what the 8th one is?
教えてあげたい気もするけれど
I'd
僕
be
が
more than
口出
happy
しでき
to,
るのはここま
but
で
this
だ。
is as far as I can get involved. Okay, you little twink. Emilio gently smiled, then spoke clearly as if delivering a prophecy.
印が色づく頃またこ
Return
こに
here
置い
when
て
the mark is prominent.
君たちに
May
神の
God be
ご加
with
護
you.
があらんことを。
And with that, he turned his back to us and walked away in silence. His unusual presence and odd grace had us frozen for a moment. Wait! We snapped out of our trance and chased after him outside. But he was nowhere to be found. I know this isn't possible, but it's as if he vanished into thin air. We thought on the words Emilio left for us as we walked through the forest back to Vermont.
あの子供
That child,
エミリオは
Emilio,
第8の秘跡
mentioned
が必
something
要だと
about
言っていたな
receiving the eighth sacrament. Yes, I'm only familiar with the 7 sacraments they taught us in the church.
だが第8の秘跡なんて
I've
初め
never
て聞い
heard
た
of an 8th one. Neither have I. Say, how about we go to the church, Dante? What you doing, baby? Are you going to bed? Getting some Wawa? Okay. Maybe there's something there that we can refer to. Or maybe Sister Sophia knows something.
なるほど
I see.
だが日を改めよ
Perhaps later instead. Wouldn't sooner be better?
うここからアルカにたどり着くにはファルチェを通らなければならな
We
い
would need to go through Falce to get to Arca.
知っての通り
With
今
how
のファルチェは
Falche
俺
is
たちに
now,
対して不満を
I
抱え
doubt
ている
now is a good time to go near there.
もし俺と一緒にいるところを見つかって
It'll be a problem if they
Why
find
need
you
to-
walking there with
それは
me.
困る
He's worried about me. It'll be fine, Dante. It's getting dark. I doubt anyone would notice.
分かっただがもし危険な気配があれば
But the
そ
moment
の
I
時は
sense
すぐに
danger,
宿へ引き返
we're
す
heading back to the hotel. Understood. Thank you, Dante. Evening was upon us as we left the forest and headed to Arca. Fortunately, we were able to get to the church without drawing any attention. We went to the refectory and found Sister Sophia no different from a usual day. Oh my, Pink, it's been quite a while. You look like you've lost weight. Sister Sophia, I'm so glad to see you. I extended my arms out and ran towards her. We both embraced each other tightly. I'm very happy to see you safe, Signor Falzone. The people have been too harsh towards your family as of late. I can't believe the lies spreading amongst the townsfolk here. It's truly saddening.
シスター
I
あ
appreciate
なたの
your
心遣いに
kindness.
感謝する
Kind words, sister. I felt like continuing this topic would only hurt Dante, so I changed the subject. Sister Sophia, we actually came because we wanted to ask you something. Sister, who are you talking to? Do we have guests? Fucking children. I heard the pitter-patter of footsteps, and as the door opened, a burst of sound came forth. There stood the children I lived with at the church, both with surprised looks on their faces. Ah, it's Sis! Where were you, Sis? We were so worried. Ah, I'm sorry. So much happened, and I forgot to let you all know. I felt a sharp pain in my heart from seeing how worried the kids were for me. Jean, Laura, we're having a very important discussion, so maybe we can talk later. Sister Sophia gently asked the kids to let us have some privacy. Oh, that's not fair. We finally see Sis here, but we can't talk to her. The kids were beginning to pout. Sister Sophia looked at us. Please wait in your room. I'll be there as soon as I put the children to bed. My dearies, it's time we go to bed. Let's head back to your room. Sophia left the refectory, taking the sullen kids with her. Then Dante?
お前の部屋に
Yes,
案内してくれ
lead the way. Are you gonna defile me in my church bedroom, sir? I mean, go off, King, but... That's where Elena and I make out. I'm sorry the place is so plain. I rarely have guests in here, so... Except for Elena. We make out in here. My room must look like a closet compared to the Falzone manor.
いや綺麗に整頓された部
Your
屋だと
room
思う
is well kept.
お前は
So
ここで
this is
ずっと
where
暮
you
らして
lived
きたんだ
all
な
your life. I watched Dante look around the room with a spark of interest in his eyes. I didn't expect him to be so interested. Noticing that I was looking at him, he turned his attention back to me.
なんだ俺に言いたいことがあるなら
What is it?
遠慮しなくていい
If there's something you want to say, don't hold back. Oh, No, it's nothing. It's just that it feels a bit strange seeing you in my room.
そう言われてみれば
Now that you
俺も
mention
不
it,
思議な気分だ
this is strange. I wasn't sure what he found interesting about my room, but he was making me nervous. There's nothing special here.
いやそんなことはない
Not
う
at
ま
all.
く言えないが
I
なんとな
can't
く
seem
落
to
ち着
word
くという
this
か
right. But this place feels comforting. Okay, weirdo. Oh, I'll get it. I opened the door and let Sophia inside. She greeted us again with a nod of her head.
お待たせしてしまいましたね。ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry to have
改
kept
め
you
て
waiting.
あなた
Now
たちの
then,
話を
shall
伺
we
いましょう。
continue? Thank you. So we came to ask. I explained what I could, then asked her about the eighth sacrament.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry,
私
but
も
I've never heard of an
第
eighth
8の
sacrament
秘跡
before.
なんて聞いた。
I see. Sister Sophia shook her head, and I felt I may have been a bit too optimistic.
シスター遅くに悪いが
I'm
この
sorry
教
to
会の
ask
書庫を見
this
せ
at
てもらっても構わ
I'm
ないだ
sorry
ろ
to ask at this hour, but do you mind if we see your library?
ええ、もちろん。
Why,
手
of
に取れ
course.
るものはどれ
You're
で
free
も
to look at
どう
anything
ぞご
here.
自由にご覧になってください。
Having received approval from Sister Sophia, Dante looked at me seriously.
ここなら秘跡に関する本があるはず
There's
だ
bound to be something here that touches on the sacrament. I need your help. Sure thing. We brought back as many books as possible from the library, hoping at least one made mention of the sacrament. We each went through stacks of books, searching for information and clues. We scanned each book, page by page. We kept at it, book after book. With how tired we both were, we soon fell asleep. Night passed with us in my room, unable to wake up to continue our search.
おはようございます。
Good morning. Hey,
お姉ちゃんたち。
you're
Mama
both still
寝てるの？
asleep? Huh? Jean's voice woke me up. I gasped, seeing the sun already high in the sky.
すっかり眠ってしまっていたな
Morning already?
もう朝か
We must have been tired.
うん。ご飯の準備
Oh
もできてる
yeah.
から。
By the
食堂に
way,
来てってシスタ
Sister
ーソフィアが。
Sophia that said that breakfast is ready. We'll be right there. Dante and I got ourselves ready and hurried downstairs to the refectory. We somehow made it down to the dining hall without looking too shabby. Then all of a sudden, Pink! A familiar voice called my name, and she lunged towards me to take me in her arms. Elena! I hugged her back, and we both looked at one another.
私、とってもとっても心配したのよ。
I've been worried sick about you.
あなたったら前に教
You
会
have
に来て
some
くれた
gall
きり
not to
ずっと
contact
連
me
絡
since the
もなし
last
で。
time you came back. This is an angry girlfriend. She's like, why did you bring a man here? I get it, Elena. I'm right there with you. How dare I?
ソフィアは心配しなくても大
Sister
丈夫だって言
Sophia
って
said
いた
not
け
to
ど。
worry,
でも、
but... I'm sorry, Elena. Please, forgive me. I went to get us a rich husband. I consoled her by rubbing her back and tried to calm her down.
そうね。
I'm
私も
sorry.
いきなりごめん
That
な
was
さい。
rude of me.
私ったら
It's
つい
just that Elena let me go and apologized. It was then she noticed Dante standing next to me.
あら、そちらは
Oh, and this is? Our ticket out of this place. She stopped, then began to stutter.
まさか、
Oh,
も
wait,
しかして
is,
その
he,
シニョレ・ファルツォーネ
he's Signor Falzone?
はじめまして、シニョリーナ。
Pleased to meet
その
you,
予想通り、
Signorna.
俺はダンテ・ファル
As
ツォ
you
ーネで間
said,
違いない。
I am Dante Falzone. Dante bowed his head like a gentleman, showing respect to Elena. I'm sorry
ファルツォーネのカ
to
ップの
think
前
I
で
was
騒いじゃ
acting
って
this way in front of the
どうしたの
Falzone's boss. Don't be so scared. He's a nerd. It was obvious that Elena was flustered. I giggled, seeing her blush in confusion. That's all right. Calm down, Elena.
お話の続きは
Why don't we
食事の
talk
後に
after
してはいかが
breakfast?
です
The children are all
子
waiting.
供
We accepted Sister Sophia's offer and took our seats in the dining hall.
スープにビスコッティだなんてシニョ
I
レの
hope
口に
our
合うと
soup
は
and
わからない
biscotti
けど
suit your taste, Signor. It's been a while since I've had your minestra, but it's as wonderful as usual, Elena. I taste a hint of bay leaf.
ねえねえお姉ちゃんたち
Say,
今日は遊んで
sis,
くれる
you want to play
朝ごは
today?
んが終わった
We
ら
can go
外で
outside
遊ば
after
ない
we finish. Oh my god. I love doing the little kid voice. It's my favorite.
ダメよお姉ちゃんには
No,
本を読んで
sis
も
is
らう
going
の
to read us a
じゃあ
book.
もうそう言って
You
たでしょ
said that. Remember, Jean?
ああそういえば
Oh, yeah.
お姉ちゃんの
That's
説
right.
明がそろ
We
そろ
haven't
恋
heard
しい
sis
な
read
って
us a
話
book
した
in
っ
a
け
long time. I miss it. Thank you both. But let's be a bit quieter while we're eating, okay? And I'm sorry, but I can't do that today. Could you remember to remind me next time?
久しぶりにお
Oh,
姉ちゃんが帰
sis,
ってきた
you've
と
been
思
away
っ
for
た
so
のに
long, you know.
じゃああまり
Jean,
わがままを言って
she
はい
can
け
play
ま
with
せん
you
よ
again next time.
いい子で
Be
待
a
っていま
nice
しょう
boy,
ね
you hear? Sister Sophia kindly spoke to Jean, and he reluctantly nodded in agreement.
うん
Okay,
さあ皆さん
now then,
食事中は
we
静
should
か
have
に
a
しま
nice
しょうね
quiet meal. We can
おしゃ
chat
べりは
later.
その後で
With Sister Sophia's words, everyone in the refectory went back to eating their meals. I whispered to Dante sitting next to me so that no one could hear. I'm sorry for all the commotion, Dante.
いや、
Not
こ
at
んな
all.
食事は新鮮だ。
I haven't had a meal
こ
like
れは
this
これで
before.
楽しいと思うし、
I think
お
I
前の
see
ルー
why
ツを
you
見た
are
気
who
がす
you
る。
are now. Oh, he's so cute. Dante looked about the area with a smile, then continued to eat. Okay, I am gonna take a quick break and get up and stretch. Alrighty. Approximately. Ugh, fixing my hair. Okay. After breakfast, we went back to my room to resume checking the books for clues.
二人とも大丈夫
Are you
そ
two
れら
alright?
しい本を少し
I've
探して
seen a
みた
few
か
more
ら
books
置
like
いてい
these.
くわ
I
ね
can bring them by. Thank you, Elena. That would be great. She's checking up on us to make sure we're being good Catholic children. Along with additional books, Elena helped us out by bringing us cups of coffee while we continued our search. We sipped our warm coffee and sat flipping through book after book after book. Unfortunately, we couldn't find anything particularly helpful.
そろそろ夜になるな。
It's getting dark.
あまり長く滞在して
We shouldn't
この
stay
辺り
here
の
for
噂に
much
なっても
longer.
まずい。
We don't want our whereabouts known.
まだ書庫の本すべてを調べきれて
We
はいない
haven't
が、
exhausted all
一
our
度宿に戻っ
resources
た方
here
がいい
yet,
だろ
but I think it's best we head back to the hotel. True. It would be bad if something happened now. Let me clean the place up first before we go. We returned the books to the library, the books we got to the library, then made our way back to the hotel. Although we couldn't find anything, just being back at the church made me feel a lot better. Perhaps seeing that I was feeling better than before, Dante offered an idea.
そう頻繁には難しいが、また
Maybe
調
we
べに
can
行こ
go
う。
back at a
そ
later
れまで
date.
関係しそうな本を
For
届けても
now,
らえばい
we
い。
can have someone send for more books. We can have someone send more books to us. Dante. I think someone got stabbed. Ah,
今の声は
that
まさか
voice. We were going through the alleys to avoid being seen when all of a sudden we heard a loud yell. We ran towards the street and peeked around the corner to see what had happened. A number of the Falzone family members were lying on the ground. 2 were standing against the silhouette holding a long weapon. A small young girl stood there with a weapon in hand. It was clear she was with the Lao Shu.
お前たち相手じゃ全然つまんないよ。
You guys are so boring.
あれは
That's Dante. You know her?
ヤンの配下だ。確かランと
Yang's
呼ばれていた。
underling. I believe they call her Lan. Oh. Sorry, I'm fixing my hair. She looks familiar. The young girl, Lan, shouted in a frustrated voice.
ほら、さっさとダンテ・ファルツォーネを呼べ
So where's Dante Falzone? Bring him here. Hurry up.
誰がうちのカポを
Like we'd call the boss.
話通じないみたいね。
You don't understand, do you?
あなたはも
Well
ういらない
then,
よね。
I guess I don't need you anymore. She brandished her spear-like weapon and began spinning it over her head.
死んじゃってよ。
You're going to die, you know. She swept her weapon, bringing the man down. Now there was only one standing.
お前は伝言役ね。
You're my
最後にもう
messenger.
一回だけ言うよ。
Listen to me carefully.
ダンテ・ファ
Bring
ルツォーネ
Dante
をここ
Falzone
に呼んできて。
here. Damn, Lan. Get him. Girl boss. Something isn't right about her. Her eyes kept twitching, and an eerie grin was plastered across her face. Something was definitely wrong with her. It's almost as if she's drunk.
ファルツォーネが来るまで私は。
Until the great Falzone
そう
come.
ね。
Let's see.
ファ
Oh,
ルツェの住民に
I'm
遊んで
gonna
も
play
ら
with the
うよ。
people here.
どれくらい
I
減った
wonder
頃
how
に着く
many I
か
can get
楽
before
し
he
み
comes.
ね。
She then looked at the people who were watching the commotion from afar. They slowly began to back away, but
逃げてもいいよ。
come on,
追いかけっ
run.
こするだけ
I
ね。
like playing chase. Let's see how
どの
long
く
you
らい
all
頑張れ
last.
るか
Oh
ワク
no,
ワクするよ。
she's girl bossing too close to the sun right now. She suddenly sprinted towards the citizens and swung her weapon around erratically. No, Dante scoped the area quickly to see if there were any other members of the Laoshu around.
お前はここに隠れていろ。
You stay
姿を
here.
晒す必要はない。
Keep yourself hidden.
俺
I'll
が相
go.
手をしてくる。
Dante. I was worried about Dante. But if I held him back now, the people of Falche could die. Please, be careful. I prayed for Dante's safety. He looked at me and nodded, then headed out to the street.
ファルチェの人間には手を出すな。
Hold it right there. Huh?
俺が相手になってやる。
You were looking
こ
for
の
me,
ダンテ・ファルゾーネ
right?
がな。
I'm Dante Falzone. Sure,
別
whatever.
にいいよ。私の目的は
I didn't come to Falche for sightseeing.
お前
I
を
came
殺す
here
こ
to
とだ
kill
から
you.
ね。
Now die, Falzone.
死ぬのはお前だ。ラオ州の乱。
It'll be you who dies, Lan. No, don't kill her. She's just a baby. Dante drew his gun as Lan laughed madly. Then she charged at him. Ah! The fear of losing Dante. I had to keep myself from screaming as I watched on. But then... Huh? I heard footsteps behind me and turned around. Ah! Who are you?
おとなしくしろ。
Shit! Pipe down! A man snuck up from behind, attempting to capture me. He had hidden from us, using Lan as a distraction.
伏せろ。
Pink! Duck! Ugh. Dante's bullet pierced the Laoshu's head as he fell backwards onto the ground. His blood and brains splattered across the ground, and I mustered the strength to look up at Dante.
隙ありだよ。
Got you!
女を気にするなんてずいぶん余裕みたい
So
ね。
nice of you to keep your eye on the girl, Dante Falzone. Dante twisted his body to dodge Lan's blow. Dante kicked Lan away to create distance. His powerful kick sent the young girl flying back, but she fell onto one of the bystanders who hadn't made his escape. Lan's weapon mercilessly plunged through the young man's body. Get out of my way, will you? Lan angrily kicked the man, then pulled her weapon from his body. The young man laid on the ground with blood seeping out of his body. Yikes! Lan jumped to the side to avoid the bullet. She then let out an irritated laugh. Well, that was rude, as expected of the Falzone. Coward.
なんとでも言え。
Say what you will.
次は私の番。
It's my turn now. I'll end this. She closed in, swung her blade towards his neck.
終わるのはお前の方だ。
Right back at you. Dante braced himself at her charge. Why is he standing still? He stood his ground, staring at Lan. Then he pulled the trigger, just as her blade was about to connect. Maybe she wasn't expecting it. The bullet struck Lan at close range and blew her back from the impact. The incoming blade flew away from Dante.
め
Sorry, Faye. And just like that, her body was still. Ah. At the sight of her dead body, I came to my senses and ran to the injured young man. I can't stop his bleeding. Dante and I tried our best to save him, but it was all over. With what just happened, Reeve rushed back to the hotel without saying a single word. Dante? I could tell Dante was putting up a front. He couldn't hide his disappointment.
お前が無事でよかった。
I'm happy you're safe, but
だが
Dante was vexed over the fact that his decision cost the life of a civilian. He wouldn't express his sorrow, but he would probably continue to live on in repentance. Oh, baby. There was nothing I could say to console him, and the night quietly shrouded us. There's 9 chapters in his story? What the hell? Ugh. Well, my tummy's feeling a bit upset here, so I'm actually going to call it a night real early today. The one thing I know that does work. PioFiore. Alright. Those of us just tuning in, we are on chapter 9 of Dante's playthrough. We're quite far into this one, but I think we stumbled into a good ending here. If you want to see all the routes I've played and this, they're all up on my YouTube so far, minus the last little bit I played last week. I think I only played about an hour and a half because I had a sick tummy last week. All right, so the day after we came back from the church, Leo came to deliver us a stack of books.
俺はよくわからなかったんで、シスタ
I
ーたち
wasn't
に
sure
聞
what
い
to
て、
get, so I just asked the sisters there to help.
遺跡とか教国の教え
They
に関係
gathered
す
a
るよ
lot
う
of
な
books
本を
about the
とにかく
different
たく
miracles
さん
of the
集めても
church.
らいました。
This is great. Thank you, Leo. As Dante said, it was best that we avoided spending too much time at the church. We were about to continue our search. We were able to continue our search now with Leo's help.
シスターソフィアがくれぐれ
Sister
も無理は
Sophia
しない
said
よう
not
に
to
伝え
push
てくれっ
yourselves
て。
too hard.
自分の方でも少
She
し
also
調べてみる
mentioned
からって言ってま
she'd
した。
see if there was anything else to share.
それからこれ、
Oh,
ジュ
and
リア
this.
からの差し入れで、
Here's some panini
中は
from
パニー
Gilia.
ニだそうです。
Oh, Gilia. Always thinking about us. Oh, thank you so much. While the hotel's room service was top notch, Gilia's cooking was what I really wanted.
ご苦労だった、レオ。
Good work, Leo. That wasn't his voice.
また何かあればいつでも言ってく
If
だ
there's
さい。
anything else you need,
新しい本が
please
必要
let me
にな
know.
ったら
I can
すぐ
have
用
more
意します。
books prepared. Leo gave a bright smile, then quickly left the hotel to tend to his other duties. I shifted through the stack of old tomes with Dante. I hope there's something in here that we can use.
これは美味しいパスタのコツ？
How to make delicious
奇跡には
pasta?
関係ないな。
This has nothing to do with the miracle. I wouldn't be surprised if some other books got slipped in inadvertently. Oh, look. This one is Pinocchio. I haven't read this in ages. You brought me a copy back at the manor, remember?
そんなこともあったな。
I don't remember. Oh, look at his little blush. How dare you, sir? How dare you be so cute? Dante blushed, looking down and away from me as he tossed the cookbook onto the floor.
あの時はお前の好
At the
きなもの
time,
なんて
I
全然
didn't
わ
know
からな
what
かっ
you
たから
would have liked to read.
とにかくいろいろなジャンルを
All I
揃え
did
よう
was
と
gather as
手
many
当たり次
different
第に
books
集
as
め
I
させたん
could,
だ。本だけじゃない。
and not just the
他にも
books.
何を送
I
ればい
didn't
いか
know at all what you
ちっと
really
もわ
needed
か
or
らなかった。
wanted. Oh, his little smile. How dare you, sir?
教会で生活
The
するお前
Falzone
を
family
ファル
watched
ツォーネ
over
はずっと
you
見守っ
while
てきたが
you were still living at the church.
お前が好きなも
Even
の
then,
をどうすれ
I
ば喜ぶ
didn't know
のか
what you
も
liked
俺
or
は
what
全
would
然
make
知
you
らなかったん
happy.
だ。
Hearing Dante speak honestly with me like this filled me with such emotion. It's not what you gave me. It's the thought that counted, Dante. It made me feel better to see you care for me, especially with the way things were back then. Of course, there are things I'm worried about now, but I think things are different from before. Dante looked straight at me. I couldn't take my eyes off of him.
俺もきっと
I think I feel the same way.
お前がそばにいてくれる。
You're here
だから
next
不
to
安で
me,
も前を
which is
向い
why
て
I
いられ
can
るんだ。
continue to move forward. Dante, being able to hear this translation error, being able to hear his thoughts like this made me so happy. It showed how much trust we placed in each other, how much we believed in each other. Pink. The warmth of his hands on mine filled my heart. Meanwhile, lie. Who is it? It's Gilbert. Oh, it's Nicola. I let out a sigh, reading the morning paper that was delivered to the Visconti.
ひどいな。
Unbelievable. I frowned. There were articles written containing allegations against the Falzone over a number of incidents:
賭博に窃盗、
gambling,
詐欺に強姦
theft,
だって。
fraud,
どれも
rape.
誇りに反する
All
も
of
のばかり
these
だ。
were a stain on our family's pride.
ファルツォーネが
The Falzone,
ダンテがこんな真似をす
Dante
るはずはな
would
い。
never do such things. Oh, that reminds me. You know what I didn't do today? Because I was so caught up in OBS being a brat. Give me a second here. Let's put up the trigger warnings today. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Just making sure that's up. knock something over. Okay, there we go. I should be all set here. The Falzone would never do such things. I threw the newspaper on to the table with frustration. Press. Tooth comb. What? Yang! I squinted as I swirled the Xiaoling wine in my glass.
フェイに続き
Fei,
ラン
and
もい
now
なくな
Lao.
ったか
The Lao she was
口の歯が
losing
欠ける
members
よう
like the
に
teeth of a
ラオ
broken
州
comb.
の駒がこうして追い詰められるの
Being
も
in
悪
a
くは
tight
ない
spot like this
たやす
isn't
い
so
戦い
bad.
など
I
その
tire
夢
of
を持
easy
た
battles. I looked at my empty glass and sighed.
いればうるさいが
Having
いな
them
ければ
around
い
was
ないで
bothersome,
無
but
料に過ぎる
without them, it was too quiet. Uh-oh, when Yang gets bored, things get troublesome. The warmth of his hands on mine filled my heart. I've said that like 3 times now. Okay. Although he would eventually let go, I wanted to appreciate the sight of him in front of me now. The time we spent together was invaluable to me. A few days passed as we searched through the church's books for clues. And still, we hadn't found anything of use.
ファルツォーネがこんな真似をするはずがないだろう。
The Falzone would never do things like this. Dante threw the newspaper Leo brought down on the table in anger. I couldn't find the right words to console him. The newspaper was continuing to write derogatory articles about the Falzone. No. The family was being falsely accused of a multitude of crimes in the region. Even the old lady who used to say hi to me frowns whenever I come around. No, Leo. Some are even posting close signs the moment they see me. No, who can be mean to this little boy? He's the cutest, sweetest baby. Leo had been bringing us newspapers and goods since the beginning, but I had never seen him this sad before. Death to anyone who hurts him. And his feelings, his precious baby feelings. I didn't mean to imply anything. I'm sorry. It's just that...
どうした?
What?
まだ何かあるのか?
Is there something else? Nicola. He may be up to something. Nicola. It seems he's approached some of our men who don't know about his betrayal. Of course he's up to something. He's Nicola. I'm guessing he's trying to find out what's going on with us. He was a pillar in our family. If the others find out that he betrayed us, things might go from bad to worse. I know you want to keep this secret, boss, but I don't know how long it can last. Understood. Let me think about it. Thank you. Then I'd better get going. Leo bowed his head a bit reluctantly before leaving the room. Dante, He hasn't told everyone about Nicola's betrayal. Why not? Tell everyone. Dante, how about a cup of coffee? Sure, thanks. Poor baby. Dante wasn't speaking much. It seemed like he was in pain. Of course he was in pain. Why wouldn't he be? Once Dante announced Nicola's betrayal, Nicola would never be able to step foot in the Falzone Manor again. Nicola would lose the place he called home. Dante must still believe in him. He wants to believe in him. Even if he did have to remove Nicola from the family. Given their relationship, the decision couldn't possibly be made lightly. I'd better not say too much about it. After serving Dante some coffee, I began combing through the new pile of books Leo brought. Just as the sun was about to set, Dante spoke my name. What is it, Dante? Did you find something? Leo brought a book from the church that we have back in the manor. You mean like the Pinocchio storybook? Yes, having the same books as the church isn't anything unusual. What is unusual is that the text here is different from what I read in the manor. Different? What do you mean? Girl, come on. Most of the content is the same, but I found several sentences that I don't recall ever reading. You remember everything you've read? That's pretty amazing, Dante. Dante looked down at the book and then replied somewhat reluctantly. This book is special. It's an almanac that touches on Berlone's local history. The editor is Alberto Falzone. It's a book edited by the fifth head of Falzone. My father used to tell me to read this book over and over again as a child. I don't remember everything word for word, but I remember most of it. Dante handed me the book, and I began flipping through its pages. I don't think I've ever read this before. It wasn't made available to the general public. Now that he mentioned it, the dimensions of the book seem different from the normal books you'd find in shops. The church and the Falzone have a shared history, so I understand a copy would be there, but for the content to be different. What's different about it? Most of it is the same, except for the last chapter. The last chapter. Yes, the last chapter is about the oracle that delivered a message to this land. Oh? The problem is that only vague lore about the event was written there. It didn't speak of any particular secret, from what I can remember. Many who lived in Berlone were at least aware of the oracle. But what's written here is different. You mean the way it's worded is different? Dante nodded in response. It isn't written the way I remember. This version is much more difficult to read. Stop beating around the bush, pretty boy. Maybe the one you had was rewritten to be easier to understand?
そうかもしれない。
Possibly.
それならなぜ後に
But
な
if
って
that's
書
the
き直したのか。
case, who rewrote it and why? Could we compare the book you read before with this one? Messenger. Orlok. Ha, I knew it.
やあ、ボナセーラ。
Buonasera.
気づかなかっ
Twink is
た。
back.
いつからそこに。
I should stop calling the members of the church the Twinks. Or should I? No, I shouldn't. What? How did he get there?
俺が声をかけられるまで
I
気づか
didn't
ないなんて。
notice until he called out to
この
me.
人は一体。
Who is he? He's the church twink. That
この
robe.
服装。
Is he from the church?
もしかして。
はじめまして、オルロック。
Nice to meet you, Orlok.
僕はエ
My
ミリ
name
オ。
is Emilio.
ヨゼフから
I've
よ
heard
く
about
君の
you
話を
from
聞いていた
Yosef.
よ。
I don't know if that's how you would say it in Italian. That's how I'm gonna say it anyways. Ugh.
君に教えなければ
I
なら
need
ない
to
こ
tell
と
you
がある。
something.
もっとも、
Whether or
信じる
not you
信じない
believe what
は
I say
君
is
の
up
自
to
由
you.
だ。
It matters not
僕
to
は
me.
どちらでも構わない。
なんだろ
He's
う。
not
この雰囲
normal.
気は。
His presence was unlike anything I had ever encountered before. He had an aura so divine that before even realizing it, I was kneeling in front of him. Ah, so he's the top twink. Maybe it might reveal something that we're looking for.
そうだな。一度
I
屋敷に戻ってみよう。
Let's
今
go
はど
back
ん
to
な
the
に小さい
manor.
ことでも追
We
求す
should
べきだ。
start tracing any possible leads. I need some water. I haven't talked for nothing all day and blah blah blah. Speaking. Speaking is drying me out. Ugh. The following day, we returned to the manor to look for the book we discussed.
ほら待てってば
Hey, wait. Yikes! Carlo. Carlo playfully jumped headfirst into the folds of my skirt. As you do when you're a cat. Be a menace. I know because my menace is over there. Also being a menace. I carefully picked him up into my arms.
すみません。洗ってやろうとしてたら逃げ出して。
Sorry, he ran away while I was trying to give him a bath. Ah, welcome back.
今日はどうしたんですか？
What brings you here today?
用を済ませたらまたすぐ宿に帰る。
We're here only
お前は
briefly
自分
to
の仕
take
事に
care
戻
of
っていい。
business. You may return to your duties.
じゃあ、失礼して。
I'll be going then. Leo extended his hands to me, beckoning Carlo into them. Thank you for taking care of him, Leo.
こら暴れるなよ
Hey, stop
大丈夫だ
fussing.
って
It's all
入
right.
っちまえば
The
気
water
持
will
ちいいか
feel
ら
good, I promise. You don't need to bathe cats, Leo. They're self-cleaning. I mean, sometimes you need to bathe cats. I was worried we were gonna have to bathe baby Nova the other day. Because she had a sick tummy. Which means she also had a sick bum. But everything was all good. No baths required, thankfully. I smiled, seeing Leo run back to finish giving Carlo a bath. Dante and I looked at each other and nodded before heading to his office. Oh, there's a meanwhile encounter. Boop. Others.
一体どうして
Why?
何を考
What is
えて
happening? I continued on my way, confused at what was happening. Suddenly, a young man turned the corner and knocked the groceries out of my arms. What are you doing? I will quit this friggin' game if anything happens to Julia.
あ、ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry. Are you alright? Oh, yes.
あなたこそ
Are you
大
okay?
丈夫です
大丈夫。
I'm fine. The young man picked up the fallen bags. Amongst them was a white envelope.
グラッ
Ah,
ツ
grazie, signor. I hurriedly took the envelope and groceries and hurried back to the manor. Dante and I looked at each other and nodded before heading to his office. Thank God. We were in Dante's office, where he unlocked a drawer and reveal an old book. It looks like the same. Even the cover is the same. We quickly turned to the last chapter. Huh. The content didn't seem much different, but the wording certainly was. It's just like you said, but why on earth would they be different? Dante was thinking in silence. I tried to look for clues in the differences. Dante? Huh? Why isn't this book part of the library here? The fact that it was locked away seems strange to me.
なぜ理由は考えたことも
Why?
なかったな
I suppose I've never
先代の
thought
時
about
から
it.
本はここに保管されていた
It's been kept here ever since I was a child.
俺が読む時も
Father
常に
used
父
to
の手で
read the
ここ
book
から
to me,
渡されていたし
and he'd placed it back here after he was done.
入れ
Come in. The door opened slowly, and in the doorway appeared Julia. For some reason, her complexion was pale.
どうした何
What
かあっ
is
た
it?
のか
Did something happen?
坊ちゃん
Yes,
実は
young Dante. It was unusual for Julia to be acting like this. She spoke in a hesitant way.
たった今買い物から
I
帰っ
was
てく
coming
ると
back
こ
from
ろ
the
で
market when
私
I
を呼
was
び止
stopped
めたん
by
ですニコラ坊ちゃんが
by the young Nicola. Nicola?
ニコラ坊ちゃんが今
I
どう
didn't
し
have
て
a
いるの
chance to
か
ask how he was
何も
doing.
聞けますただこの封筒
He
を渡
simply
されて
handed me this envelope.
ダンテ坊ちゃんが屋敷に戻って
He
いるはず
mentioned
だ
that you would be
必
here
ずこ
and
れ
to
を
deliver
渡して
this
ほ
to
し
you.
いと言われました
Without a word, Dante took the envelope addressed from Nicola.
必ずダンテ坊ちゃんご本人に渡す
He
よう
was
に
very
と
clear that this
念を押
envelope
すよ
must
う
be
におっしゃっ
delivered to
て
you.
分かった
Understood. Dante nodded, at which Giulia bowed and quickly took her leave. Dante carefully opened the envelope. What? Inside the envelope was a letter and a single card. The card had a number of holes in it. That's a strange looking card. Why'd I drop the G? Dante held the card in his hand and thought to himself in silence.
まさか
Wait. As if something had dawned on him, he turned the card and set it flush against the book. The card fit the width of the book perfectly. Dante?
これはおそらくこの本に隠されている
This is
暗号を
probably
解
the
読す
key
る
to
ための
breaking
鍵
the
だ
code. It's a codex! Huh?
カルダングリルという暗号の手法がある
This is a cardin grill.
カードを文章に重ねて
It's a method
穴から見え
used
て
to
いる文
read
字だけを読むんだ
messages using only the letters that can be seen through the holes. Dante quickly turned to a page to see how the card worked. There's nothing in particular here.
そうだなだがこれは
That's
おそらく
because Dante turned to the final chapter and placed the card on top of the page. It says something. The words that can be seen through the holes made a sentence.
教会にあった本もここに出してくれ
Can you get the book from the church? Just a moment. We use the card to find the hidden messages in both books. Their chapters were worded differently, and now we could see that they contain separate messages. This would explain why they were worded so differently.
少し時間をくれ2冊を見比べながら暗号を
Give
解
me
読
a
してみる
moment. I'll need to compare the messages in both books. He carefully turned each page to read what the card revealed. I
そうい
see.
うことだったのか
What does it say? I leaned in involuntarily, and Dante answered me with a hint of excitement.
ファルツォーネの屋敷で保管されていた本に隠さ
The
れてい
book
たの
I
は
own
前
contains
半の
the
文章
first
だ
part of the hidden message.
教会にあった本に隠されていた
The
のは
one
後
at the
半
church contains the
2つを
second
つな
part.
げて初めて一つの
Both
文
of
章に
them
なる
combined create a full message. So what was hidden wouldn't have been clear without both books? What does it say?
書かれていたのは生異物のもたらす奇跡と生異物の
It
封印を
revealed
解くための
the
儀式に
miracle
つい
of
て
the relic and the ritual required to break the seal. Ooh, doggy. That's amazing. You did it. It was exactly the information we were looking for.
生異物のもたらす奇跡は怪我
I
や病
don't
気な
know
どの
if
治
it's
癒とされ
true,
ている
but it
真偽
says
は
the
不明だが
relic can heal any
かのローマ皇
illness.
帝の病も癒したとか
That it even healed a Roman emperor long ago. Yay!
奇跡の例として皇帝は自らの土地を分け与え
That
そこが
emperor
現在の
offered
教
up
国になっ
land
たと
in
記されて
honor
い
of
た
the miracle, and soon the land came under the church. So what about the ritual? For some reason, Dante looked hesitant. Dante?
いや儀式については分かった
No, the ritual is outlined clearly.
しかし行うためにはいくつか問題がある
There are a number of
今すぐに
things
封印が
that
解ける
need
わけ
to
じゃ
be
ない
done before we can break the seal. I see. Well, at least now there's hope. We know what we need to do now.
そういえば、封筒にはカード以外に手紙が入って
Come
い
to
たんだ
think
った
of
な。
it, I haven't read the letter that was inside. Oh, I completely forgot about it. Thousands or others.
つくづく読めない男だな、
Oliver,
お前は。
a sneaky guy, aren't you?
そう僕ほど分かりやすい男も
I
い
thought
ない
you
と思
could
うけ
read
ど
me like a book. Nicola, you're being sneaky, a little sneaky snake. His smile wasn't worth anything to me. Once a traitor, always a traitor.
有能であるがゆえに、
His talent is something to keep an eye on, especially now that he's with us.
お前の目的はどこにある？
So why are you really here, Nicola?
さあ
What do you mean?
それより僕に構
You
ってい
must
る
be
暇はあ
far
る
too
の
busy to bother with me.
ギルバートのお守りをしてあげないと
If you
また
don't
すぐ
stay
に
with
行方を
Gilbert,
くらます
you
んじゃ
may
ない
lose him again like you did before.
忌々しいことにその通りだ。
As much as I'd like to
今日は
refute
一人に
that,
してくれだと。
you're right. Though he did ask to be alone today.
全くギルバート、
Unbelievable.
自分の立場を
Gilbert,
本当に分かっているの
as if
か。
he doesn't understand his position in this town.
それでも
And
君
yet,
は彼
you
のわが
fully
ままを聞いてあげちゃ
understand
うん
yours,
だ
despite his selfishness.
ギルバートはボスだからな。
Gilbert is
あ
my
いつが
boss.
言えば
I
私に
don't
は
have the
ノーという
option
権
of
利がな
saying
い。
no to him.
君たちはいい
You
関係
too.
だね
I envy your relationship. Nicola, how do you see Gilbert and Oliver? Because I know how I see them. And that just means on the Gilbert's route, I get to be both of their wives. Hehe. Perfect. His smile contained a hint of sorrow that even I could see. I completely forgot about it. We opened the letter included in the envelope to see what it said. It says, after reading the letter, we turned to each other. What did it say? Bring it back. It was already late in the evening. Dante and I were at the church again. We drove here to avoid any dangers laying in the wait along the way. A number of the Falzone's men were keeping watch over us from afar. In the letter was a short note. Today's date, church, and evening.
ニコラからの呼び出しか？
Nicola wants to see us. Dante, today is Friday, isn't it?
ああ、それがどうかしたのか？
Is there a problem? Not many people come to visit the church on Fridays because of the evening market. But there was one person who always did,
それは？
and that's... I replied hesitantly. Gilbert Redford. Maybe Nicola wants you to meet with Gil?
もしくはギルバートに同行して自分も
Or
教
maybe
会に
he's
来ると伝えて
accompanying
きたのかも
Gilbert
しれない。
there. Maybe. The short memo wasn't enough to tell us what Nicola's intentions were.
行ってみるしかない。
We
そう
have
しな
no
ければ
choice
答え
but
は
to
いつ
go
までも
there
闇の中だ。
to find out what he wants. You're right. Let's go to the church, Dante. We needed to know why Nicola sent us the letter and the card. We opened the doors to the church. A person was waiting inside alone. Gilbert Redford. I could tell Dante felt uneasy at seeing him here. Or maybe it was the sadness that Nicola was absent.
You, 久しぶりだな。
Hey, long time no see. Gil spoke to Dante as if running into an old friend.
お前一人か。
Are you alone?
ああ、友人を悼むときは一人がいい。下の
Guess
や
you
つ
could
には
say
見せ
I'd
たくねえ
rather
だろ
mourn alone.
そんな顔。
I don't want my men to see me grieving. Friend? Gil looked at me. He seemed to notice the question I had in mind.
少し前、ファルチェの大通りで、ラオ州の構
You
成員が
remember
暴れ
the
たと。
Lao Shu that went berserk in
それに
Falche?
巻き込まれたらしくて
My
な。
friend was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Oh no! I don't think I'm on the best end. I could still be on the good end though. I'm just not on the best end. I don't like it. Make it stop. Please. I don't want to hurt Gilbert. Ah. Many people were injured in that incident. And there was one civilian casualty. Is he referring to... I'm sorry. I wasn't able to save your friend.
いや、気にしてねえよ。あんたはあい
No,
つを手当てし
don't
て
worry about it.
助けようとして
You
くれた
did
ん
what
だ
you
ろ。
could to try and save him, didn't you?
あの時、その場にいたやつだ
My
から聞
guys
いた。
told me what you did back there.
Grazie,
Grazie,
signorina.
signorina.
ファルチェの住民と友人だったのか。
You were friends with a civilian from Falche?
ただの市民に組織動向は
Being
関
a
係ねえだろ。
civilian or being in the mafia doesn't matter. Neither does where you live.
事実、ファル
The
チェの住
people of
民も
Falche and
クレタ
Krita
の住
move
民
all
も
about the town
普
as
通に
they
街を行
please.
き来してるし。
そうだな。
Indeed.
俺はマフィアだからな。葬
I
儀には
can't
出
go
られ
to
ね
his funeral because
え。
I'm
遺族に
mafia.
迷惑をかけちまう。
Being there would just make matters worse.
だから、せめて祈りに来た。
Which is why I figured I'd pray for him now. Oh, Gilbert. Baby. Gil looked up. Gil chuckled, then looked up at one of the stained glass windows.
あいつとは飲み仲間でな。
I used to drink with
す
him.
ぐ調子に乗るんだが。
He was a rowdy fellow for sure. What a fun one.
俺たちは
I
他人の
knew
命を
we are in
簡
the
単に奪
business
え
of
る。
taking lives,
だか
so
ら
I
当然、
expect the same to happen
自
to
分の
me.
命だが、
But
組
to
織
see
に
a
属して
civilian
もい
lose
ない
their
た
life
だの
for
一般
this,
人が
it's
こうして
unforgivable.
死ぬのは許せね
Gil's voice was calm, but I could tell he was very angry over his friend's death.
その通りだ。俺たちマフィアがこの
You're
町で
right.
商売できるのは
We
町
can
の住
thrive
民が
here
い
as
る
the
からこそ。
mafia because of the civilians.
組織間の抗争に一般
Having
人を
them
巻き込む
involved in
の
our
は
struggles
誇
goes against our
りに道理
reasoning
に
and
反する
pride.
行いだ。
俺もお前と同じ意見だ。
I'm
カジ
with
ノ
you
で
on that.
無駄な労
Do you
力は避き
remember
たく
what
な
I
いって言
said
った
back
の
at the casino
覚えてるか？
about not liking to waste my time? Dante nodded silently.
あれは俺が抱える構成員を
That
む
also
やみに
meant
危
I
険に
don't
さら
want
した
my
くね
men
えっていう
involved
理由もあ
in
った。
unnecessary danger. Gilbert turned towards us again, looking straight at Dante.
俺が今動くメリットはない。その気持ちは変わらねえが。
I have nothing to gain by getting involved, but the Laoshu broke the rules.
ラオシュウを放っておけば、
If I let
世
them
界に
be,
響いたブ
Berlone's
ルーローネ
mafia
マフィ
will
アの
become
名
the
も地に
laughing
落ちる。
stock of the world. His eyes were burning with anger, illuminated by the setting sun. Look at how angry he is. Also, his eye was burning with anger. We can't see the second one.
ダンテ、
Dante,
会合の
I
場で
want
彼
you
女
to
と引き換えに
reconfirm
出した条件
and
を
I
今
want
こ
you
こ
to
で飲んでもらう。
reconfirm and accept the conditions of our trade back then, right here and now.
火の粉がヴィスコンティにまで降りかかれば、ラオ州を倒すために
If
味
the
噌式で協
conflict
定を結ぶ。
dragged the Visconti in, we'd work together and take down the Laoshu. I can read. Oh my frick.
その条件を受け入れよう。
I accept.
今ここ
We
で。
have a deal.
グラッツェ。これ
Grazie.
で協定は成立
The
だ。
deal is done.
一時的
The
に
Visconti will
ビスコン
assist
ティ
the
とファルツォー
Falzone
ネ
for
は
the
手を
time
組む。
being.
もう晩鐘が鳴る頃だ。
The
日を改め
evening
て
bell is about to
今後に
toll.
ついての
We
話を
will
しよう。
work out the details on another day. And so it happened. We promised to meet again and saw Gil off. That was surprising. I didn't expect the Visconti to help.
ギルバートは嘘を嫌うタイプの
Gilbert
人間
hates
だ。
liars,
それだけに信
which
用でき
means
る。
he can be trusted. Yes, I'm sure things will get better. Not everything had been resolved, but I felt we'd be able to sleep more soundly now. Gilbert Redford.
俺だ。
It's
ああ
me.
ダンテか。
Ah,
俺も
Dante.
今そ
I
っ
was
ちに
just
かけよう
about
か
to
と思ってた
contact
と
you.
ころだ。さっさと会合の日
So,
時を決めようぜ。
do you have the time to meet?
いつも
Where?
と同じでいいだろう。
Why not the usual place?
協定を結ぶからってどっ
Just
ちかの
because
屋
we
敷
have a
に
pact
招く
going
招かれ
doesn't
るだのっ
mean
て
we
な。
need
ちょっ
to
としねえ
eat
よ。
at each other's manners, right?
日取りは明日
Tomorrow?
だと
That's a bit too
急すぎ
soon
るか
for me. How about
月曜で
Monday?
どうだ。なんだ提案って。あとにかく行ってみろ。
What do you mean
聞いてか
plan?
ら決める。
I'll make the call after you tell me what it's about.
なるほど。
I see.
いいだろう。
Fine. I'm good with
受
that.
け入れた。
A new week arrived, and with it, the day we would meet the Visconti. Meet with the Visconti. Burp, 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 burp. I can read.
いらっしゃいませ、ファルツォーネ
Welcome,
様。
Signor
どうぞこちらへ。
Falzone. Please, this way. I don't like how fast things are going here. It doesn't feel right. It wasn't as bad as before, but I could feel the tension in the air. Is it really okay for me to be here? Dante asked me to join, so I accompanied him to the casino.
そろそろ約束の時間だな。
It's about time. Dante mumbled, looking at his watch. Gil still hadn't arrived. After a short while, the door opened and an unexpected person walked in. Nicola! I was surprised seeing him here, but Dante appeared unfazed.
ごめんね。ちょっとトラブルが起きたんだ。ギルバ
I'm
ートは
sorry,
もう少し
but
遅
we're
れてくる
having
よ。
some problems. Gilbert is going to be a bit late. Nicola turned his back to us and headed back out the door.
ギルバートはしばらく来ない。少なくとも、俺た
Gilbert
ちの
won't be
話が
here
終
for
わ
a
るまで
while.
は。
At least not until I'm done talking to you.
会合の前にお前と
I
話をして
asked
おきたく
Gilbert
て
to give us some time to
ギ
speak
ルバートに仕
before the
組んでもらっ
meeting.
た。
僕はギルバート
So
にはめら
Gilbert
れたって
deceived
こと。
me? You've been deceiving everyone, sir. It's time someone said, let's give Nicola a talking to. Nicola sighed in disbelief. He then shrugged and turned around to face us.
僕から話すことなんて何もないよ。
There's nothing I have to say.
俺から話す。
Then let me talk.
これから
Mind
話す
you,
のはあくまで仮説
what
だ。
I'm going to say is strictly my own theory.
お前は最初から
My theory is that you were planning to persuade the Visconti to work with the family all along.
彼女をさらってビスコンティに
Gifting
差し
her
出した
to
の
the
も
Visconti
手を組むきっ
was
か
to
けを
open
作
up
る
the
ためだっ
path
た。
to negotiation.
少し都合よく解釈しすぎじゃない？
Isn't that
僕が結
optimistic
局
of
ファル
you
ツォーネのために
to
動いてい
think
た
I
って
did everything for the foul zone?
決め手になったのは
My
カードと
theory is
手紙だ。
supported by your letter.
暗号についてはひとまず置いて
I'll
おくが
get to the card later.
少なくともあの手
That
紙は
letter was
ギ
sent
ル
to
バー
me
トと
so
俺
that
を合わ
Gilbert
せよ
and
うと
I
意
would
図した
meet.
ものだった。彼女ならあの手
You
紙の
knew
意味
she
を理解
could
できると
understand the intention
お前は分
behind
かっ
the
てい
date
たん
and
だろう。
time. After hearing Dante's thoughts, Nicola let out a sigh.
ダンテにはかなわないね。
That's the Dante I know, all right.
だが一つわからない。
One thing I don't understand is why.
お前がファルツォーネのことを考
Your
えて
betrayal
動い
was
ていた
part
こ
of
と
your
は
plan
確
to
か。
help the family.
裏切りもそのためだ。だがファルツォーネの
But
内
you
側
could
か
have
らで
done
も
similarly
同じく事
without
態を
leaving
動かすこ
us.
とはできたはずだ。お前ほどの男が気づ
The
かなかっ
risks
たはずがない
involved。with the
裏切るより
course you
リスク
took
も低
was
い。
high.
な
So
の
then
になぜ
why? Why indeed?
それじゃあダメだったんだよ。
You've gotten it wrong. Nicola looked calm, but I could tell he was a bit irritated.
ただファルツォーネを守ることに意味はない。
Protecting the
僕は
foul
生
zone
物の
isn't
奇跡なん
enough.
て信じていないん
I
だ。
don't believe in this relic nonsense.
ファルツォーネは血と
The
迷
foul
信に
zone
縛ら
blood
れてい
is
る。
shackled to a fairy tale.
も
Our mission is
呪いだ。
more of a curse than anything. I'm just gonna insult the thing that you care most about, Dante.
う実際にあるかどうかもわからない
Protect
も
the
のを守り、
relic,
必要
risk
か
your
どうか
life
も不
over
確かな
some
存在に
unknown
命を
object
か
that
ける。
may not even exist.
愚かにも程があるよ。
What stupidity.
この町に生物
This
な
town
んて
doesn't
必要
need
な
this
かったん
so-called
だ。
relic.
生物がなくなれば教
Without
国
the
の後ろ
relic,
盾を失う。
we would lose
こ
the
の町は
support
他
from
と
the
変わらない
church.
ただの田舎
This
町にな
town
る。
would go to ruins.
今と同じように栄えられないっていいじゃないか。
You're saying it can't stay as prosperous as it is now? So be it. The mafia is no longer needed in this generation.
ムッソリーニ政権のマフィア弾
With
圧は今後も
Mussolini
きっ
at the
と
helm,
厳しくなる。
our place in the mafia will only bring trouble. 1925 Italy, guys.
今なくなっても同じだ。
Nothing will
何も変わ
change,
らない。
whether we're around or not. Nicola's eyes burned with anger. But his anger isn't directed at Dante or me. His anger was probably directed at
住民たちは多少なりとも苦労するだろうね。
the
この町
citizens
の
may
豊かさ
suffer
はマフィ
after
アがも
all.
たらす恩恵だから。
The mafia is the source of the town's bounties.
これまでブルローネは僕たちが
Berlone
与
was
える安
thriving
寧にあぐらをかい
and
ていた。
reliant
それなのに、
on the security we provided. Even so,
ダンテは当然町の新
you
聞を
read
読
the
んでいるよ
newspaper,
ね。
didn't
住
you,
民の
Dante?
声だって少しは
Did you
耳にした
hear
はず
what
だ。
people had to say?
ああ
Yes.
あれだけファルツォーネの世話になったのにこんなすぐに手のひ
I
らを返
can't
すなんて
believe how
ね。
easily they turned their back on the foul zone.
だったら僕た
I'm
ちが
sure
手
it'd
の
be
ひらを
fine
返した
if
って
we
許
turned
され
our
るだろ
backs on them too.
う。伝統、使命。
Keeping
そんな
a
ものをいつまで
tradition
も大事に
and
守って生
fulfilling
きて
your
いくなん
mission.
て時代
That's
錯誤
all
だよ。
in the past now.
ダンテはもう自由に生きるべきなんだ。
You have
そ
the
れを
right to
実
live
現さ
as
せられるだけ
freely
の
as
カ
you
ードは
want.
全て君の手元に
And
揃
now
っ
you
た。
have all the cards in your hand to make it that happen. Oh, he just wants to free Dante from his mission. But Dante's mission makes him happy and gives him purpose. Y'all just need to sit down and have a goddamn conversation. Talk about your feelings. It's good for you. Nicola's face finally showed the extreme hatred he felt towards the family's mission. Nicola, you want to set Dante free?
そうだよ。
Yes. May I ask why?
さっき言ったよ。
I said it already. It's ridiculous, being shackled to the family mission like this. If you don't wish to be shackled, why don't you simply leave the town? Ugh. Nicola wasn't answering my question.
ニコラはダンテを解放してやるのが自分の使命だと思ってるんだろ
Could it be that Nicola feels his own mission is to free Dante? Hiya! Gilbert coming in here with the truth bombs. That's my man. Oh, hi, baby. Are you hungry? Gil. Okay. My baby with her sick belly from yesterday is looking for a meal, so I'm gonna take a break and I'll be right back. Poop.
約束より少し早いな。
You're here earlier than I thought.
ダンテは堅物だし
Well,
ニコラも
you
意
and
外と頑
Nicola
固だ
aren't the
ろ
most easygoing
二
guys,
人が
are
腹を
you?
割って
I
話すな
figured
って言
things
われ
wouldn't
ても
go well.
うまく冷たい空気の中で
I
付き合わ
felt
さ
sorry
れ
for
る
the
彼
young
女が
lady
かわい
needing
そうだ
to
ろ
endure it, so
割って
here I
入
am.
らせてくれよ
Oh, Gilbert, so thoughtful. Stop it.
ギルバート。
Gilbert,
あれは僕自身
this
の
is
問
my
題だ。
problem.
彼らに
There is
伝える
no
必
need
要
for
はな
you
い。
to interfere.
忘れたのかお前
As a
は今
reminder,
俺の部
I
下だ
am your boss.
だったら黙
Now
って
shut up. Having been raised in the mafia, Nicola begrudgingly backed off as ordered. Gil then looked at us and began to speak in a calm tone.
ニコラがうちに寝返る
Nicola
条件として
agreed to
提示したの
betray
は
you as long as
ダ
we
ンテ
didn't
を
kill you,
殺さない
Dante.
ことだったファルツォーネを潰す
He
にし
asked
ろ
that
ダン
the
テだけ
worst we
は
do to you
この
was
町を
expel
追い
you
出す
from
に
this
とどめて
town.
くれってな
Dante held his breath in silence.
マフィアの構想は結局のとこ
Conflict
ろ
between two
頭を
families
潰
can
すまで終
only
わらねえ
end
もんだからな
when one of their heads is lopped off.
本気でやり始めたら
You, me,
俺かダ
Yang,
ンテかヤンか
if we all went for it,
そのうち
only
一人
one
し
of
か
us would
生き
remain
残ら
standing.
ねえよ
Dante finally understood why Nicola betrayed him.
ニコラの裏切りは
Nicola's betrayal.
全て俺のため
It
だ
was all for me.
ということ。すまないニコラ。
I'm sorry,
俺
Nicola.
は
I.
謝られても嬉しくないよ。
Apologizing isn't going to do anything. Nicola answered abruptly. His mood took a turn for the worst ever since Gil walked in.
お前の気持ちは素直に
I
嬉しい。
appreciate your concerns,
この
but
使
my
命を
mission is my duty,
務めを放
and
棄して
something
自
I
由に
wouldn't
なれた
ever
としても
abandon, even if I was free.
俺はそのまま生きていくこと
I
はできない。
cannot live as freely as you want me to.
いつ
I
か
would
戻ってくること
probably
になる。
return to my old ways.
そういう君だから
That's exactly why I wanted to free you. It was important, because you're like a younger brother to me.
ま、でも
Well,
僕も開き直る
I
ことに
suppose
す
I
るよ。
can't change your
こ
ways.
うなったからには
I may
腹を
need
くく
to
らないと
accept reality.
ダンテが受け入れられないっていうな
If
ら
you
それ
weren't
はそれ
going
で
to
仕
let
方
go
ない
of
けど
your mission, so be it.
僕は君とファルツォーネが
Just know
憎くて裏
that
切
I
ったわ
didn't
けじゃ
betray
ない
you or the family
も
because of
し許
hatred.
されるなら
So I'd
事態
appreciate
の
if you
解決に
accept my
協
help.
力させてほしい。
許可しよ
Accepted. Thank goodness. Dante was in so much pain from Nicola's betrayal. I was happy they were able to reconcile. Dante spoke with Gil about the relic and how the foul zone was involved. A good part of the information was already well known, but Gil still looked surprised. He had a skeptical he had a skeptical look on his face as he listened to Dante in silence.
う。俺
We were planning on obtaining the relic so we could use it in negotiations with the church. With Nicola's help, we now know how to break the seal, but... Dante didn't finish his sentence. It seemed he wasn't fond of the concept of gaining the relic. Come to think of it, where did you get that card, Nicola? I thought this earlier too, but what card? All I gave was the date and time that Gilbert was going to the church. Huh? She's referring to the Cardin Grill? Grill? You didn't send that to us? Cardin Grill. As in the decoder? That certainly wasn't me. Confusion spread to everyone in the room. What is going on here? Dante mumbled with a frown on his face. Gil spoke. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but why don't we get back on topic? Dante, you sound like you're not keen on using the relic to negotiate with the church. Why is that? The relic is an object of faith. I'd rather not use it in worldly matters. This relic is to be hidden. That's the reason it's been kept secret all this time. That's precisely the reason you can use it, no? It was the only means of success I could imagine before, but things have changed since then. If the Visconti will help us, then there are other ways we can face the church and the Lao Shu without relying on the relic. Okay, that's fair. If there are other ways, then it's best we not use it at all. I'm not sure I agree with you on that. You have something that would guarantee you results. Even so. Gil and Dante were going back and forth on the subject for a while. Gil then let out a sigh of disbelief. Fine, if that's your decision as boss, so be it. Now I'm going to need something from you. We're not doing this for free, you know. What is it? I want you to let us work with the Monreal family in Sicily. Gilbert, that's far too much. Nicola raised his voice, but Dante waved a hand to calm him down. I'll agree to that. Gil had a smile of satisfaction on his face. Now that that's done, how about we discuss a way to get rid of them rats? Don't talk about my husband like that. My husband Yang, my beautiful man. The long meeting drew to a close. We were back at the Falzone Manor. Everyone had come to a decision that action would need to be taken as soon as possible. The Lao Shu was weakened at the present moment, but they had more men overseas. It wouldn't be a stretch to imagine that they would ship more of their men here. Something like that would only extend the conflict. And so, we decided. We would make our move tomorrow. The final decision was made before we all left the casino. Welcome back. You must be tired. This should help warm you up. Thank you. She served me a steaming cup of chocolata colada. It's delicious. I feel so much better. Ooh, I should make some hot chocolate. No, focus. Thank you. I don't see things calming down tonight. You should rest while you can. Agreed. It was late at night, but the men were all running around in preparation of the big day. There were men from the Visconti here to help as well. Julia? Yes? I'm sure something good will happen soon. Oh, I wonder what that will be. I'm looking forward to it. Nicola wasn't here, but he finally got back together with Dante. That's not... No, you don't phrase it like that. He finally made up with Dante. He should be here soon. I couldn't imagine how happy Giulia would be when she saw him return. Most of Dante's men weren't even aware that Nicola betrayed the family. It shouldn't take very long for him to rejoin the group. But some did know about his betrayal. Secret. The Lao Shu. Yeah. The Visconti and the Falzone have joined forces. I see. Aren't you worried, Yang? We don't have the manpower to face them. What's with the church? What happened to the deal with Rosberg? He wants out. What? Calm down. Looks like his plot was found out by the higher orders of the church. He's going to lose his position soon, which means he'll be useless to us. That just means things will go south. What are you going to do about it, Yang? Those accursed Falzones got rid of a good number of our men already. Yes, we did retaliate and kill some of the Falzone. But without the church, there's no way we can face them and the Visconti. I said calm down. I already called for reinforcements. A ship should arrive in Berlin tonight. Oh God. We can handle this without the church. Being at a slight disadvantage is going to make things a bit more entertaining. Unbelievable. I don't care whether I die or not. I care less about the Li Huanghu and the church. I'm fine as long as I can have fun. They would need to hear an explanation before Nicola returned. The Visconti men know that Nicola has been staying at their manor. The Visconti and the Falzone. The fact that a pact was formed wasn't known to the men yet. So Dante suggested that Nicola stay where he was until things were settled. It had been a while since I returned, but it felt nice to be able to rest here again. It somehow feels very nostalgic. I prepared to go to sleep when suddenly I heard a scratching outside of the door. It must be Carlo. I opened the door slightly, and Carlo immediately slipped through the open crack. Welcome back, Carlo. It's time for bed. I took Carlo into my arms and sat down on the soft bed. Still, my real home is... I rubbed Carlo's back and remembered the days I spent back at the church. I did return for a short while back to see how everyone was doing. Maybe that's why I'm only remembering the good things back at the church. Now, my heart felt no sorrow. The knock at my door made Carlo jump from my arms and under the bed. I walked to the door to see who was there. Who is it? It's me. Dante? Surprised, I opened the door. Oh, is he blushing? I think he's blushing. Oh no! Oh yes! Oh my gosh! Huh? He immediately looked away from me, and I was confused for a short while as to why. Then I looked at myself and remembered that I was wearing a negligee. I'm sorry, just a moment. I quickly grabbed a gown to wear. I'm sorry about that. What brings you here at this hour, Dante? Will you come in?
ダメだ。こん
No,
な時間に女性の寝室に入る
I
わけに
can't
はいか
enter
ない
a
だろう。
lady's room at this time of night. You can. You can enter more than my room. I'm sorry. I'm gonna contain myself. Huh? Dante's reluctance took me by surprise.
どうして笑うんだ？
Why the chuckle? Well, you do remember that we lived together a while at the Hideout and Hotel, right?
あの時は緊急事態だった。
That was because I
今は
didn't have a
違う。
choice. Oh, protagonist. We're so sly. We're like, we've already lived together, sir. Come to my room. My little ice prince. You're welcome in any time. Seeing him try to hide his embarrassment with an angry voice made me chuckle again. Serious as usual, I suppose. I'm sure he'd be angry if he knew what I thought of him in this moment. We're undressing him with our eyes. Game called me out. That he's cute. That's not what I thought. It's late, and we'd just be disturbing the others talking outside in the hall like this. I certainly wouldn't let anyone come into my room like this. It's only because it's you, Dante. Ice Prince's resolve weakened. We used flirt and it was super effective. Dante was really hesitant, but finally gave in and stepped forward reluctantly. So, I'm assuming this is urgent?
そうだな。
Yes. Please. I offered him a chair, but it looked like he had already curled himself on it. It was probably best that I not bother him as he was about to fall asleep. Why don't you take a seat on the bed? Ugh. Dante stopped for a moment, but soon sat himself down on the bed. I sat next to him to hear what he had to say.
夜遅くにすまない。だが、
I'm sorry for
今日中に
disturbing you
話して
so
おきた
late,
かったんだ。
but I needed to speak with you now.
生物の封印を解く
It's about the
儀式に
ritual
つい
to
て。
break the seal. Dante refused to go into detail about it before. Gil had his suspicions, but I too thought it was strange he didn't want to delve into the subject. Does this have something to do with why you don't want to use the relic?
封印解除には俺たちの血が必要になる。
Our blood is needed to
だが、
break the seal,
それ以上に
but
前
in
提として、
addition to that,
ファルツォーネの当主と鍵の乙女が結
the
ば
head
れ
of
てい
the
なければな
Falzone
らない。
family and the key maiden need to be unified. You don't mean... He needs to unlock my true potential. Look at that blush. This is the part I remember. This is the one part I remember of this game. He needs to wink, unlock, wink my true potential.
お前は鍵の乙女だ。だからこそ今回こうして巻き込まれ危険にさらされ
You're
た
the key maiden, which is why you were involved in so much danger.
俺は
I
お
love
前の
you,
ことが好きだから
which is why I
大切
want
に
to
したい
put
と
you
思ってる
first, ahead of everything.
だからお前を
That's
生
also
物の
why I
ための
didn't
道
want
具
to
としては
use you like
扱い
a
たくな
tool
かっ
to
た
get the relic,
それが
even if it meant I
俺
was
の
being
わがままだったと
selfish.
しても
So Dante chose not to use the relic for my sake? I felt sorry for being a hindrance to Dante, but at the same time I felt happiness. Really? For me? His thoughts were warming me from the inside. Not gonna be the only thing warming us from the inside tonight. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
それが鍵の乙女の証か
So that's the sign of the key maiden. Ah! Dante looked towards my chest. He's looking at my boobs. My booba. I hurriedly covered my mark with my gown and then closed my eyes. I suppose, but to me it's just a blemish. It wasn't something to show off. I felt uncomfortable, knowing Dante could see it. Ugh. Dante silently moved away my hand that was covering the mark. His fingers slowly traced over it. Ah! The sudden movement of his cold fingers made me shiver. I tried to hold him back, but he grabbed my hand and... Dante? He gently kissed my mark. With his warm lips against my skin, I felt myself tremble in a different way. I meekly tried to resist, but his arms were strong as he held me down. I wasn't sure how much time had passed. He soon lifted his face from my chest.
このあざは俺とお前をつ
This
なぐ
mark is a
印だ
sign that connects us.
お前が
Pink,
俺のものだという証
this
だ
is proof that you belong to me. Ah! His warm breath gently tickled my skin with each word he spoke.
使命があったから惹かれたわけじゃない
I'm not attracted to you because of
パ
my
ルツォーネの
mission.
死も些細な問題だ
Your being the key maiden and my being a Falzone doesn't matter.
俺はお前
I'm
という人間
attracted to
に
you
惹かれ
because
た
of who you are. His words were as warm and soft as the gentle pressure from his lips on mine. The heat went deep into my heart and spread through my body.
明日ファルツォーネと
The
ビスコンティが
Falzone
負けることは
Visconti won't
お
lose
そらくない
tomorrow.
だろうだが全ての決着がついた時
But
俺
when
が
the
生き
dust
ているかどう
settles,
かはわからない
there's no telling whether or not I will still be alive. Dante,
ギルバートもニコラも同じだ
it's the same with Gilbert
こ
and
んなに
Nicola.
怖いと思ったこと
We all share the same feelings about it.
死ぬことは許されないとは思った
We aren't allowed to
死
die,
にたくないと思ったことはなかった
but still, we had never thought about fearing death itself.
だが今は
But
戦い
now,
が怖い
I don't want to die,
死にたくないんだ
and it's all because of you.
お前にまた
I squeezed Dante's hands tight. I looked deep into his azure eyes and let him know my feelings. Dante, you will come back alive. I believe in you, I
俺は
promise
必ず
I will come back alive.
生きて帰ってくる。
I gently smiled at Dante as I prayed deep inside for his well being. Sighing. Others,
本来なら介入が許されないところまでわざ
to
わざ
think
協
that I
力
helped
してあげたのに
beyond
ね。
my role and intervened in such a way. I looked up at the early morning twilight and sighed.
あのカルダングリル、峡谷から持ち出すのは結
That
構大
carton
変だ
grill
っ
was
たの
quite
に
a pain to sneak out of the church.
ジョーカーを手にしながら
Dante
使わない
Falzone,
なんて
I don't
僕は
understand
理
why
解
you
に
don't
苦し
use
む
the
よ。
Joker card
ダ
I
ンテ・
gave
ファルツォーネ。まあ
you. Well,
だからこそ
I suppose that's
君たちを
also
見ている
why
のは
what
面
you
白いの
see
だ
in
けれ
your
ど
eyes, what you see in your eyes is so interesting to me.
もう一つだけ手助けを
I
してあ
don't
げたけれ
mind
ど
lending another
あっ
hand,
ちはどうな
but
る
I
かな。
wonder how that will go.
ちゃんとカードは届けてくれた
What
みたい
is
だ
going
し
on with you, you twink?
僕の言葉も理解してくれたみたいだね。
It seems like he delivered my card and understood what I was trying to relay. The starlight told me
夜明け前に
the end will come before the morning twilight fades. I gently smiled at Dante while I prayed deep inside for his well being. I will pray for him to return safely. I will pray for him forever. The night was still dark, with no trace of light in the sky. The hour was silent as any other day. At least that was how it seemed. Most of the men had departed the manor. There weren't many left now. Dante isn't here either. Just thinking about where he was going made a shadow of anxiety loom in my mind. Dante promised me. So what I needed to do now is believe in him. I prayed in silence, awaiting his return. The Falzone and the Visconti began their attack on the Laoshu base.
出入り口が他にあるかもしれない。
Go ahead and cover the
建物
back
の裏にも何人か
building.
もある。
They may have an escape route there.
誤射には気をつけろ。今回はお客さんも一緒だからな。
We have special guests with us, so be careful when you shoot.
カポ、突入したニコラから伝言
Boss,
です。
I have a message from Nicola.
前線は敵の数が予想より多い
He
そう。
said that there are more
拠点内に
enemies than
隠れていた
expected.
みたいで。
They may have been in hiding.
なんだと。
What?
まさかすでに本
They've
国から
already
の
called
増援
for
が
reinforcements.
一足遅かったか。
Guess they were already a step ahead.
全員
Oh well.
気合い入れてくれ。
Everyone, get
死ぬ
ready.
なよ。
You all better not die on me.
任せてください、ボス。
Leave it to us, boss.
ニコラに伝えろ。突入班は予定より慎重に。ヤンに接触するまで無駄な血を流すな。
Let Nicola know to prioritize defense. Keep everyone safe until we encounter Yang.
わかりました。
Understood.
長引くな。
This will take a while. I thought victory was ours, but it seemed things had taken a turn.
ラオシュに増援があったとすれば。
The Laoshu has reinforcements. They may have more men than us. You're...
知ってるのか、ダンテ。
You know him? Dante?
その男はオルロック。
Or
峡
look,
谷の人間だ。
he's with the church.
峡谷の意向に従って協力する。
By the will of the church, I've come to help. Orlok! You came to save my man?
協力
Help.
峡谷はファルツォーネを見
I
限ったん
thought the
じゃなか
church
ったの
abandoned the Falzone.
峡谷は最後の審判を下した。ラオシュを支援した聖職者はもう失脚する。
The church has made their final decision. The one who backed the Laoshu will be excommunicated.
教国はブル
The
ロー
church
ンを
will
今まで
support
通りの形で維持す
the
ることを
well-being of
望ん
Berlone
でる。
as before,
だから俺はそのために
which is why I'm
人と
here.
して
I've come to
俺の
fulfill my
役目を果
duties
たしに来た。
as a disciple. Orlok brandished his dagger and ran off. He immediately slashed through the Lao Shu and dove into the building.
カポ、アンダーボスからの伝令で
Boss,
す。
a message from the underboss.
中にいるはずの
Yang's
ヤンが
nowhere
見
to
当
be
たらない
found.
と。妙だな。こういう
That's
時は
odd.
率先して出てくる
With
タイ
his
プの男だと
personality,
思ってたが。
I expected he would charge at us any time.
はて、俺の噂か？
Oh, you're referring to me? Gilbert and I quickly turned around at the surprisingly close voice behind us.
とっくに拠点から出してたってわけか。
So snuck out beforehand, did you? You must have honed your animal instincts to do that. That's rude, Gilbert.
雑魚など何人殺してもつまらん。
Killing grunts is
どうせ
boring.
戦うなら
I'd
骨のあ
rather
る
chew
相
on
手がいい。
something more enticing. Hi, Yang! I'm right here. Yang smiled eerily and brandished his weapon. He was wielding two oddly curved swords known as Shuangao in the east.
組織の頭がどれほどのものか期待している。
I can't wait to see
あ
how
ま
you
り
two
失望
fare.
させるなよ。
Don't let me down. Gilbert quickly pulled his gun up and fired repeatedly. Yang quickly reacted to the sound of gunfire. With astonishing physical prowess, Yang leapt and avoided the shots. I aimed my gun at Yang's chest and carefully pulled the trigger. Yang used his blade to deflect the shot. Then he charged at us head on. Am I going to? No, that won't happen. I repeatedly fired my gun at Yang, who had closed within striking range. His blade came in for the kill. I dodged Yang's thrust and kicked him away. But the blow didn't land squarely on him. It was then I felt a surge of pain running along my side. Move back, Dante. Gil's shots forced Yang to make the distance. Someone closed in on us? His attack knocked Gil off balance. No! I don't like this end! I pointed my gun at the new assailant.
助け合いか？
You're helping
甘いな
him?
ファルツォ。
Very stupid, Falzone. Yang quickly leapt towards me and closed in so close that I could see the whites of his eyes. With me unable to withdraw my arm, Yang raised his silver blade and... Fresh blood splattered. A bullet flying from an unexpected direction struck Yang in the arm.
僕とも遊んでよ、ヤン。ファルツォーネはダンテ一人じゃ
How
ないんだ。
about playing with me, Yang? Dante isn't the only Falzone around. Nicola, you're good for something!
ダンテを慕う者、信じる者、その全員で
Those who
君
follow
と
and
ラオシ
believe
を
in
潰
him
してあげ
will
るよ。
crush the Lao Shu for good.
フランチェスカ。
Francesca. Oh, I love the way he says it. Oh, this voice actor is so good. Yang made the worst move of his life by turning his attention to Nicola. I carefully pointed my gun and shot him in the knee. Even if Yang could bear the pain, he wouldn't be able to move like before. Take this. I turned around to see Gilbert finishing off the man called Lee. Nicola, Gilbert, and I circled Yang, who was the only one remaining.
もうお前に勝ち目はない。
You won't be winning anymore. Give up, Yang. With a little chuckle. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Hmm? Oh my god. The night was drawing to a close, and Yang's eerie laughter resounded across Valeno.
思った以上だ。随分と楽しませてくれる。
Amazing. I haven't had this much fun in a while.
なのに諦める？終わりにしろと？ その提
Yet you're telling me to give up? To end it? That I cannot accept.
ああ
Right.
この男は狂って
He's already gone mad. He continued to laugh in a pool of his own blood. He seeks battles at the cost of his limbs. He's a man with nothing to protect. Even to himself, he is a mere pawn.
殺せ。ヤンを生かして
Kill
おく
him.
理由はない。
There's no need to keep him alive. Gilbert spoke coldly as he holstered his gun. As head of his family, he continued.
ラオシュは土着の組織ってわけじゃねえからな。
The Laoshu aren't the amicable
ビスコン
type.
ティやファ
They're
ルツ
not
ォーネ
like
と
any
違
of
う。
us.
ヤンを殺して残りの構
Everything
成
will
員
be
を全員
finished by
排除
killing
すれば
Yang and whatever remains
全
of
て
the
を
Laoshu.
終わりにできる。お前がやれ。
It's your
ダン
duty,
テ・ファルツォーネ
Dante Falzone.
そうだな。
Listen to him.
殺しておくべ
If
き
you
だ。
don't
で
kill
なけれ
me,
ば俺はまた
I'll
お
just
前
come
を
back
殺
for
しに
more.
来る。こんな面白い遊びを
How
何
could I
度で
not
も
be
したいから
entertained
な。
by such
そ
fun?
れこそ
I
こ
would
の
die
命
for
尽きる
it.
まで。
ああそうだな
You're right. I'll end this.
終わりにしよ
I held my gun up. I pointed it at Yang's head. My finger pulled the trigger without hesitation. Oh my god, it was so pretty.
うあっけないものだな
That was easy. I could still hear the gunfire going on, not far away.
行くぞニコラ
Let's
俺
go,
たちのファ
Nicola.
ミリーはまだ戦って
Our
いる
men is still fighting.
前に出るつもりなの？カポなのに。
Heading to the front lines? You're a boss, you know.
まあいいか。死なない
Oh
程
well.
度にね。
Just
君が
don't
行けば
die on
みん
us,
なの
will
士気も
you?
上がるよ。
I'm sure our men will be happy to see you join them. Relaying Yang's death to the remaining Laoshu should slash their morale.
ヨガ明け
It's almost morning. The eastern sky was starting to pale. We walked into the Laoshu base to allow the morning to begin in peaceful silence. I don't think this is the best end. I think this is just the good end. Skip credits. The war with the Laoshu ended. Dante returned injured, but he kept his promise of coming back alive. Dante also kept his promise with Gil and gave him rights to a portion of the Falzone business. Because of that, the Falzone lost some of their revenue and hold-on power. But now, the two organizations were balanced in their protection of the town of Berlin. Nicola acted as a liaison between the two families. The undue scrutiny and rumors about the Falzone had apparently been led by the Laoshu from the shadows. With their fall, the rumors and murmuring subsided, returning peace to Falce. As wounded as Boulogne was, the town slowly healed to the way it was before. Yeah, this isn't the good end. Or the best end. This is the good end. I woke up to the morning sunlight. I couldn't remember exactly, but I may have been dreaming about Dante. But the question Dante asked me was still on my mind. After the warring ended,
ファルツォーネの屋敷に残ってくれるなら
I would be happy if you stayed here and lived in the manor.
だが教会はお前がずっ
But
と
the
育ってき
church
た
where
場
you
所だ
were raised is your home.
家を捨てられないのは当然だ
I
と思う
understand if you don't wish to leave it. So you're free to choose whichever you prefer.
お前が教会に帰っても
Even if you do return to the church, it won't change how I feel about you. I didn't want to leave Dante, but like he said, the church was my home. Everyone there was family to me. So I told Dante that I wished to go back to the church. Dante honored my request and sent me back to the church a few days later. And so I returned to my usual life. Warfare and conflict amongst the mafia. The Key Maiden, the Relic. As the days passed, those all felt like something I read from a storybook. But I touched the mark on my chest. Each time I looked upon it, it reminded me that all that had happened was real. I got ready as usual and headed to the church to start my cleaning duties. After finishing, I stepped outside. It was very early in the morning, but there was already someone here. I immediately dashed towards the silhouette and called out the person's name. Buongiorno, Dante.
あ
Ah,
今日も早い
early
な
as usual, aren't you? I just finished sweeping the halls inside. Dante, if you have some time, how about we take a stroll? Dante chuckled and nodded in reply. After I returned here, he still came by every so often so we could spend time together. We walked through Arca towards the trailing road along the coastline. The morning sea breeze felt nice and cool. I sometimes remember how we lived together a while back then. Dante still came to the church to pray and to see how I was doing. Because of that, I didn't feel lonely.
お前が望むなら
If you'd
また
like,
俺と
we can. Dante paused for a moment, then continued.
いつでも屋敷に戻ってきて構わない
Live together again
ファルチェか
at
ら
my
教会
manor.
に通えばいい
You can attend your church duties from Falce. That's an enticing offer, but I want to stay like this for a bit longer. I haven't mustered up the strength to leave the church yet. I miss you when you're not around, Dante. It's one of the feelings I enjoy most. Look at his little fucking blush. He's so cute. He blushed, hearing my words. Oh, it's a really cute CG. He then passionately approached me.
どうしてそんな
How
可
cute.
愛いことを
By the time I noticed how close he was, what? His hand gently caressed the nape of my neck. His lips lovingly pressed upon my forehead. It took a short while for me to understand what happened. Suddenly, I began to blush. But I was so happy to be in his presence, to feel his body so close to me. I smiled at his comforting yet slightly ticklish touch. With all due honesty, I had no idea what the future held for me. Even Dante said that he didn't know what future awaited the Falzone and the Visconti. All I knew was that I wanted to continue living in peace here in Berlin. I wanted to live with the man who fought for this town, with the young mafia boss. Finn. Well, that was cute and sweet. See, this good end much better than the good end that we got with Yang, where Yang died. And we were forever traumatized. So that was nice. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, YouTube.